Chapter 1840. Night Sorrow quickened his pace and exited the courtyard. Outside the courtyard stood an old man and a young man. Night Sorrow's eyes were filled with joy when he saw the young man. He waved his right arm. The young man stepped forward and hugged Night Sorrow. 13th brother, I've missed you so much these past few years. The young man was none other than Tianyu, who had fought alongside Night Sorrow in the beginning. The one who followed Tianyu was naturally the Green Rock clan leader. He was also the one who had pressured the Great Demon King and Lin Piaomiao. Tianyu, how have you been these past few years? Let's talk inside. Night Sorrow patted Tianyu's shoulder. My grandfather, Green Rock clan leader Tsang Tian. Tianyu introduced him. Night Sorrow cupped his hands in greeting, then introduced the Great Demon King, Lin Piaomiao, and the others behind him. Night Sorrow, other than accompanying Tianyu, I've also come to apologize to you. Last time, we took Tianyu away without informing you. It was our fault. The Green Rock clan thanks you for taking care of Tianyu all these years. In the future, Night Sorrow, if you have any requests, the Green Rock clan will definitely help. Tsang Tian cupped his hands towards Night Sorrow. KV New Fastest News, clan leader, you're too polite. Tianyu is my brother. We've fought side by side, weathered storms together. We've been through life and death together. You can't say we took care of him, but as long as it's something that benefits Tianyu, I can't wait to approve. I won't stop you. Night Sorrow said. It's mainly because we were too excited at the time. That's why the clan's patriarch took him away first. We've underestimated your magnanimity. Tsang Tian said. Monarch cultivation. It seems you've worked hard these past few years. Night Sorrow patted Tianyu's shoulder again. Don't stand outside. Night Sorrow, please come in and have a seat. Lin Piaomiao said. Once they were seated in the courtyard, Tsang Skycloud repeatedly expressed his apologies, but Nightfall didn't seem to mind. Tianyu, you're going to participate in the 100 Races Alliance, right? When the time comes, we'll be able to spar. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Naturally, I'm no match for Brother 13. However, the others will try to trample as many of them as they can, Tianyu said. Tianyu, just do your best. The patriarch said that we're only bringing you out for a walk. As for the matter of taking the number 1 vanguard and number 1 commander, the clan's council of elders will be responsible for that. Night Sorrow, you have to be careful. The Azure Rock clan has another official participating team. Celestial Cliffs? Tianyu looked at Tsang Tian. Tsang Tian nodded. The Green Rock clan had another team this time, led by his elder brother, Elder Tian Yunhai. 13th brother, I can't do anything to Celestial Cliffs. Help me take care of him. Tianyu's expression turned ugly. Tianyu, what's going on? Tsang Tian looked at Tianyu. Grandfather, I just returned to the clan. During the clan meeting, he went to my residence and beat me up. That's fine, I can tolerate it. But I can't tolerate him calling me a bastard, Tianyu said in a low voice. Crack. Tsang Tian clenched his right hand, and the space in his palm cracked with a muffled sound. Good. Very good. No matter who it is, they can't bully my brother. 13th brother will get justice for you. We've been relying on each other since we were 14. Your glory is my glory, Night Sorrow's glory. Your humiliation is my humiliation. If he dares insult you, I'll pull out his teeth. I'm sorry, Green Rock clan leader, but Night Sorrow has to take care of this. Night Sorrow looked angry. This is a family matter, but you're Yu's brother. I won't stop you. You, remember this. In the Green Rock clan, I'm the clan leader. Your father ran away, so you're the junior clan leader. The others are just there to play with. If there's anything you want to do, tell me. I'll go raid their homes. I understand. Tianyu nodded. I'm sorry. I took you, away from you and made him suffer. Tsang Tian's face was full of regret. He couldn't explain it to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow shook his head. From Sang Tian's words, he knew that Sang Tian didn't know about this. He also valued Tianyu very much. After chatting for a while, Sang Tian left with Tianyu. He was very happy because he knew that even without the Green Rock clan, Tianyu wouldn't suffer any grievances because he had Night Sorrow as his brother. Contact a few more people. If we meet Heaven's Horizon, we'll teach them a lesson. There aren't many people who can defeat a peak sovereign emperor from the Green Rock clan. I'll do it. Night Sorrow shook his head. Night Sorrow didn't want others to do it. It's not a big deal. No one from the Blood Qilin clan is participating. However, a junior from the Fire Qilin clan is participating. I'll go and greet him. Chirui brought Lin Yun and Lin Yu into the courtyard. Senior is here. Please take a seat. Night Sorrow quickly stood up and greeted him. How familiar, said a young girl standing beside Lin Yun. She looked a little young, but she had a face that could captivate all living things. Lin Yu, he's Night Sorrow. He's the one who woke up your savior. Chirui said. Lin Yu, thank you for saving my life. Can I call you brother? Lin Yu blinked her beautiful eyes and looked at Night Sorrow. That's not possible. Little princess, you have a noble status. Night Sorrow doesn't dare. Night Sorrow quickly cupped his hands and refused. It's okay. You're the only virtuous emperor in this reincarnation. Our Blood Qilin clan can't compare to you. Noble. No one can say the word noble in front of you. Chirui said. Lin Yu greets brother. Seeing that her father didn't object, Lin Yu bowed slightly and cupped her hands. Good. From today onwards, you're Night Sorrow's sister. Night Sorrow reached out and helped Lin Yu up. Lin Yu, if anyone bullies you in the future, you'll have a helper. Night Sorrow, you'll have to call me Sister Yun. Lin Yun said with a smile. Night Sorrow smiled and cupped his hands at Lin Yun as a greeting. The 100 Races Alliance conference is coming soon. In the past, I didn't come, but I know that it's never this lively. I don't know why, but this time, many races are here, so you're under a lot of pressure. You're the virtuous emperor and the Blood Qilin clan is the virtuous Divine Beast clan, so I hope you can be the first vanguard. I'm here to cheer you on. The Blood Qilin clan is also your backing. Chirui said. Thank you, Lord Patriarch. Night Sorrow was shocked because Chirui's words were very serious. Qin Rui left with his daughters. Night Sorrow and the others sat down. Night Sorrow, you're getting stronger and stronger. King Yawu of the Divine Capital can shake the celestial realm with a stomp of his foot. The Blood Qilin clan is also a huge force. You're good. Great Demon King gave Night Sorrow a thumbs up. Chapter 1841. That's the difference. Great Demon King, your resolve isn't enough. Being your backer is a great ambition, Yu Zhu said with a smile. At that moment, Pu Luo returned. He looked at the Great Demon King with fire in his eyes as he tossed the gold brick in his hand. What do you mean? Night Sorrow asked with a smile. You, initial L, hair, it's nothing. The Grand Elder said that it doesn't matter where we represent. We're all humans anyway, Pu Luo said as he kept the gold brick and sat down. While they were talking, Fan Tian arrived with 2 jars of wine. Then, Fan Tian said that the arrangements for the Divine Capital's participation in the 100 Clan Alliance Conference were almost done. Elder Yan Qi and Great Guardian Shi Yan would be leading the team. Night Sorrow would be the participant this time. His current identity was the young city lord of the Divine Capital. Night Sorrow was stunned for a moment because he had never thought about this. I know you don't care, but Master said that he doesn't care about this in the Divine Capital. However, this time, in front of others and the 100 Clan Alliance, the Divine Capital has to fight. No one can use their identity and status to suppress the unparalleled Sword Sovereign's disciple, Fan Tian said. Then I'll listen to Master's arrangements. Night Sorrow nodded. Also, Master said that the few of us, regardless of our identity and status in other forces, will sit in the Humanitarian League seats as secondary representatives. The Divine Capital has arrangements for the Humanitarian League seats. If not, then the Humanitarian League can't stay in the Divine Capital anymore. Fen Tian threw out another topic. It was a trap. Pu Luo was the law-enforcing elder of the 100 Clan Elder Association in the Infinite Desolation City. It would be unreasonable if he didn't sit in the Infinite Desolation City's seats. The Great Demon King and Lin Piaomiao were also stunned. They couldn't explain it to the Grand Elder and Lu Qi. It's nothing. King Yowu, the City Lord, and I have discussed this before. The Humanitarian League is a banner of the human race. We'll use this 100 Clan Alliance conference to raise this banner. The City Lord also agrees. The Grand Elder, who was holding the coiling dragon spear, appeared in the courtyard. Fortunately, King Yowu and Grand Elder have talked to each other before. Otherwise, we would have been in a lot of trouble, Pu Luo said while wiping his forehead. The Grand Elder sat down. You guys still have limitations. You have to know that both the Divine Capital and the Heavenly Desolate City are the lifelines of the human race. You have to rise together. The City Master and King Yowu have a common understanding. Misty won't participate in the battle for the position of the first commander. Great Demon King, if you dare to fail, I won't forgive you. I won't miss. Even if I do, I'll kill my opponent. The Great Demon King stood up and made a promise. Can't you save me some trouble? This was the Alliance Conference, not the arena of life and death. Once the opponent admitted defeat, they couldn't attack again. What's more, there are several powerful figures among the judges. How can you kill them in front of them? The Grand Elder glared at the Great Demon King. Which powerful figures will be the judges? Pu Luo asked. Blood Scale Clan's Supreme Chirue, Golden Dragon King Long Batian, Green Rock Clan's Patriarch Tian Yin Song, myself and King Yowu of the Divine Capital. Currently, there are 5 judges, the Grand Elder said. This is how the 100 Race Alliance Conference should be. The small fights in the past were meaningless. Alliance Master, it seems like we have to make a big splash this time. However, in the arena, everyone has their own unique skills. They're all killer moves. Won't it be easy to kill them? After saying that, the Great Demon King looked at the Grand Elder. If both sides are injured, no one will stop them. If there's a possibility of mutual destruction or one side being killed, the judges will step in to stop them. The outcome will be determined based on the situation. Basically, there won't be any deaths. The Grand Elder explained the rules. Knight Sorrow listened while thinking. If the Golden Dragon King was here, then Long Jean might be here as well. After the Grand Elder finished talking about business, Knight Sorrow asked if the Golden Dragon King had brought a few clansmen and if the Nine-Tailed Fox clan and the Ice Phoenix clan had come. The Golden Dragon King brought a young man. When I went to visit, he was still guiding the young man's cultivation. As for the Nine-Tailed Fox clan, a messenger has already arrived. Their people will be here as well. The Ice Phoenix clan didn't come. Instead, they sent invitations to the other clans. 1 year later, their new queen will ascend the throne, the Grand Elder said. While the Grand Elder was talking, Lu Qi came with a woman. This is Knight Sorrow, Lu Qi pointed at Knight Sorrow and said to the woman. On the princess's orders, I'm here to deliver an invitation and this crystal ball to Lord Knight. The white-clothed woman held a golden invitation and a crystal ball in both hands. She handed them to Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow took them with both hands. When Knight Sorrow's hand touched the crystal ball, an image appeared in the crystal ball. Knight Sorrow, Aunt Fei is doing well in the Ice Phoenix clan. She's currently cultivating, so she won't be able to see you. Aunt Fei will ascend the throne in the coming year. If you want to come, bring your family. Aunt Fei misses you. Inside the crystal ball was Wu Lingfei's image. Aunt Fei. Please tell the princess that Knight Sorrow will definitely bring his family. Knight Sorrow bowed to the messenger. Lu Qi left with the messenger. Night Sorrow took a deep breath and put the invitation and crystal ball into his storage ring. Although the batch of seedlings sent to the 9 regions world didn't meet the expectations of the major clans, they all rose up. This is what everyone wants to see, the Grand Elder said. Since they all rose up, I can't fall behind. Let's see how the 100 Races Alliance conference plays out. Night Sorrow took a deep breath. After sending the Grand Elder off, Night Sorrow sat down. He felt at ease because the people he cared about were doing well. Lin Piaomiao took out a neatly folded battle suit and pushed it in front of Night Sorrow. After taking a look, Night Sorrow stood up. He recognized it. It was something from the depths of his memory. It was the king battle suit of the Night Moon dynasty. It was the battle suit that the men of Night Moon wore when they fought. This robe was made by Chu Yu, Aoi, Yang Lei, Xueshi, and Aluo. Everyone has a copy. Mother said that when the men of Night Moon conquer the world, they will definitely wear the king battle suit, Lin Piaomiao said. Yes, no matter where I represent, I am from Night Moon. One day, the people of the celestial realm will know about the Night Moon dynasty. Night Sorrow reached out and touched the king battle suit. The king battle suit was the belief of the people of Night Moon. When the men of Night Moon wore the king battle suit, they could conquer the world. Come. I'm suddenly looking forward to it. Perhaps I have an unstable element in my bones. The more there is a big battle, the more excited I am. Night Sorrow put away the king battle suit. Chapter 1842. Okay, no problem. I have enough gold bricks to fight them. The great demon king nodded. There were still 2 days left. Night Sorrow entered the Clear Sky Pagoda to refine the reincarnation spear and upgrade the array within the spear. Heavenly Axiom artifacts and Origin artifacts did not have a fixed grade. It mainly depended on the strength of the user. A Sage King could only unleash the power of a Sage artifact. A King's cultivation level could unleash the power of a King artifact. An Emperor's artifact would be an Emperor artifact. Night Sorrow strengthened the array to make the reincarnation spear harder and more powerful. This only took a few days, which was 4 hours in real life. It did not delay matters at all. After pondering for a while, Night Sorrow felt that he should pay a visit to the Golden Dragon King's VIP building to see if Long Jean had come. At this moment, Long Jean was still cultivating in the VIP building. He was cultivating a set of saber techniques. Long Jean loved sabers and also cultivated saber techniques. When the Golden Dragon King asked him to cultivate sword techniques, he refused no matter what. If he did not allow him to cultivate saber techniques, he would not cultivate. The Golden Dragon King had no choice but to let him be. However, the Golden Dragon King discovered that Long Jean was very talented in saber techniques. He would have a better future if he cultivated saber techniques. Therefore, he imparted a set of saber techniques from the clan to Long Jean. "Uncle, are you sure I'm your nephew?" Long Jean asked as he cultivated his saber techniques. "Nonsense. If you weren't, would I let you enter the clan grounds to receive the inheritance?" the Golden Dragon King said as he drank tea. "Then I followed your arrangements and cultivated the dragon traversing 9 heavens in 8 years. Back then, you said that as long as I cultivated it, you would give me freedom. Why can't I go see a friend now?" After Long Jean slashed with his saber, he sheathed his saber and looked at the Golden Dragon King. "Forever free of charge, 5 novels/KB, the day after tomorrow is the day of the 100 Race Alliance Conference. What if you can't make it in time? I'm the referee for this competition. If no one from the Golden Dragon clan participates when I sit there as the referee, where will I put my face? After the 100 Species Alliance convention is over, you can go and find her if you want. I'll give you a year of freedom. More than a year, half a year at most." The Golden Dragon King dispelled the enchantment. Long Jean had been cultivating his saber techniques in the enchantment. "Captain." As soon as the Golden Dragon King withdrew the barrier, Long Jean discovered Night Sorrow standing outside the VIP building. He immediately flashed outside the VIP building. Long Jean, you really came. Seeing Long Jean, Knight Sorrow was surprised. He wanted to see Long Jean, but he didn't have much hope. Long Jean stretched out his arm, and so did Yi Shang. Their fists bumped into each other a few times, and then they shook hands. I'm relieved to see that you're doing well. I just met Tianyu. He's also an imperial emperor like you, said Knight Sorrow. Let me introduce you. This is my uncle. Although he's my biological uncle, he treats me like a prisoner, said Long Jean as he looked at the Golden Dragon King who had walked out of the VIP building. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands at the Golden Dragon King. The Golden Dragon King nodded at Knight Sorrow and returned to the VIP building after saying a few words. What he meant was that he was going to pick someone up, but there was nothing wrong with not greeting him. In this world, the stronger one was the absolute truth. Knight Sorrow didn't refute. Strength was the truth. Most of the time, it made sense. After chatting with Long Jean for a while, Knight Sorrow returned to his courtyard. The Golden Dragon King's words were very domineering and even a little hurtful. However, Knight Sorrow wasn't angry. He only had the motivation to rise. On the first night of the 100 Race Alliance Conference, Knight Sorrow saw Yi Mei. Yi Mei was a 3-star emperor. She was slightly weaker than Tianyu and Long Jean. She hadn't reached the Imperial Emperor realm. After knowing Yi Mei's current achievements, Knight Sorrow was very satisfied. He couldn't associate this woman in front of him with the little fox from before. Knight Sorrow was very happy. Except for Lord Longxian, there was news of the few people who were picked up. They had all achieved something. Wu Lingfei was also safe. This made Knight Sorrow feel very relieved. Long Jean came while Knight Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao were talking. Your uncle didn't look after you today? Knight Sorrow asked with a smile. No. Actually, he just wants me to achieve something quickly. These 2 days, he has been meeting guests. Sometimes, he brings me along. Other times, he doesn't care about me. I heard some news. Captain, your humanitarian league is doing well. The humanitarian gold brick is very famous. I want to join the humanitarian league. Long Jean said. Knight Sorrow looked at Long Jean and smiled. He knew that it would be difficult for Long Jean to be with him. The Golden Dragon King was a huge mountain in the middle. My uncle didn't object this time. However, he said that I lacked something. So, he got me this. He said that I lack some experience and asked me to find you. Long Jean took out a gold brick. The Great Demon King, Pu Luo, Ruisi, and the others took a few steps back. They looked at Long Jean in surprise. The brick Long Jean took out was too big. It was golden and shiny. It was even bigger than the table they were drinking tea on. I am the Golden Dragon. If I fight with my true body, how can I use this small thing? Captain, help me solve it. Long Jean looked at Knight Sorrow and said. Pu Luo, this is my brother. Help him. Knight Sorrow looked at Pu Luo and said. Pu Luo looked at Long Jean as if he was looking at a monster. After putting away the gold brick, he left. He didn't have much time. He had to enter the space acceleration treasure and carve the Tao Te Ching. A gold brick without the Tao Te Ching wasn't qualified to be called a humanitarian gold brick. They sat down and chatted. Lin Piaomiao congratulated Long Jean on his rapid improvement. Long Jean sighed. He told her about the Golden Dragon King's inhumanity. This was the Golden Dragon clan's family matter. Knight Sorrow was helpless. The Golden Dragon King was doing it for Long Jin's sake. However, Knight Sorrow planned to talk to the Golden Dragon King after the 100 Race Alliance Conference. He wanted to see if he could get Long Jean back. At this moment, on the top floor of the tallest ancient tower in Tianhuang City, 2 people sat facing each other. One of them was King Yawu, and the other was surrounded by energy. The situation is unstable. A storm is coming. Fortunately, Night Sorrow obtained Mo Tianji's body. This is a big blow to the Demon Wing clan, the man surrounded by energy said. With that body suppressed, the Demon Wing clan will be afraid. Have you seen the body? Can you determine Mo Tianji's level? King Yawu asked. She is at the level of the tribulation of 7 emperors. However, she has accumulated a lot. Her body is filled with Taoist rhymes. If she wasn't suppressed by Wushuang for a long time, she should have no problem breaking through to the tribulation of 9 emperors. He was the city lord of Tianhuang City. If Night Sorrow saw him, he would recognize him. He was the writer of the celestial demon list, Tran Hung. During this time, Night Sorrow was with you. How was it? Could he take down the first vanguard? It would be best if he could. Even if he couldn't, he still had to enter the tower. Tran Hung said. Chapter 1843. All the leaders of the various factions are here for the 100 Races Alliance Conference. Perhaps they want to see the strength of the human race. Since you're here, there's no need for me to show up. As the referee, you should also show your strength, said Tran Hung. King Yawu nodded and the two discussed the overall situation. The 100 Races Alliance Conference officially began. The arena in Tianhuang City was very large. In the center was a large arena. Because the Divine Beast clan was participating, the arena was very large, spanning hundreds of miles. In front of the martial arts practice field, there were 5 golden thrones. Opposite the thrones, there were several seats. There weren't many people participating, but many members of the 100 Races Alliance had come. The 100 Races Alliance Conference could see which faction was stronger and some of the developments. Before leaving, Night Sorrow put on Night Moon Dynasty's king battle armor and followed the 7 people from the Humanitarian League to the arena. Normally speaking, a new faction wouldn't have a good seat in the 100 Races Alliance Conference. But this wasn't the case. The Humanitarian League's seat was very good. It was on the left side of God's capital and on the right side of Tianhuang City. It was close to the central area. Even the Divine Beast clan didn't have such treatment. Some elders questioned this arrangement, but the Grand Elder only said one thing. No one questioned the City Lord's decision. The City Lord wasn't just the pride of the human race, he was also the leader of the 100 races. No one could question his decisions. Pu Luo, the great demon king, and the others sat down. Night Sorrow looked around and saw that only the center seat was left. Alliance leader, sit. How impressive. You're on the same level as the leaders of the other factions. If anyone dares to look down on you, just kill them, the great demon king said after sitting down. Night Sorrow glanced at the great demon king in disdain and sat down. As soon as Night Sorrow sat down, a few people ran over and sat behind Lin Piao Miao and the others. It was Long Jin, Tianyu, and Yi Mei. Lin Yu also ran over. Haha. It's not bad that these kids are getting along so well. Sang Tian smiled from his seat at the judges' table. Skycloud laughed heartily, but the Golden Dragon King didn't look too happy. He'd been sitting at the judges' table, and the Golden Dragon King's only seat was Long Jin. Now that he was gone, the Golden Dragon King's seat was empty. This Humanitarian League is not bad. Kirui smiled. Bastard, I'll skin him when we get back. The Golden Dragon King snorted, very dissatisfied. What are you guys doing here? Night Sorrow turned around and asked Long Jin and the others. 13th brother, you are the leader of the Humanitarian League, and the God-slaying squad was formed by the captain. Naturally, the God-slaying squad belongs to the Humanitarian League. How can we not come at such a critical time? Tianyu said. That's right. Although some people's eyes are murderous, I'm not afraid. Long Jin and the Golden Dragon King looked at each other. Good. If you dare to come, then I'll accept. Lin Yu, why are you here? Elder Kirui will be angry. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Yu and asked. Father said that if I didn't live well in the past, he'll support me in whatever I want to do in the future. Lin Yu smiled. Fine, then you'll stay in the Humanitarian League. Knight Sorrow turned around. Since things had come, then he'd deal with it. It wasn't a big deal. Captain, I'm going to fight for the position of Vanguard for the Golden Dragon Clan. After all, I'm from the Golden Dragon Clan, and I've never done anything for the clan. Long Jin cupped his hands and explained to Lin Piao and the others. He felt that he had to make this clear, and he felt that he owed the Humanitarian League something. 13th brother, I'm in the same situation. Tianyu also spoke up. That's normal. I understand. We've never officially fought, so we're just going to use this arena to try. It won't be that easy if you want to take the position of Vanguard. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Long Jin, can you do it? Tianyu looked at Long Jin and asked. You'll know after you try. I haven't been idling around for the past few years. I've suffered so much. Long Jin smiled. Knight Sorrow also smiled. He didn't feel pressured at all. Even if he lost to Long Jin or Tianyu, he would still be happy. They were all his brothers. King Yowu was the last to appear. He sat in the middle of the judges' seats. Before he came, the Golden Dragon King and the Green Rock Clan leader didn't sit in the middle. They knew very well that there would definitely be a big shot from the human clan today. If the city lord of Tianhuang City didn't come, then King Yowu would. But no matter who came, the middle seat had to be reserved. After sitting down, King Yowu cupped his hands and said a few polite words to the 4 judges. Then the conference will begin. The Grand Elder stood up and announced the official start of the 100 Race Alliance Conference. He also emphasized the significance of the conference. The 100 Race Alliance had a team in Tianhuang City. Currently, it was led by the Human Clan because the first commander, Lin Piao, was from the Human Clan. So was the first Vanguard. However, after reaching the Emperor realm, she automatically stepped down. The first Vanguard would lead the strongest team. It could even be said that the position of the first Vanguard had surpassed that of a normal commander. The first commander would lead all the soldiers. This time, the 100 Race Alliance could be said to be fighting for the command of the soldiers. Of course, it was also to see which clan was the strongest. The stronger the clan, the greater the authority. This was the consensus of the alliance. After the Grand Elder explained the significance of the conference, he explained the rules of the conference. It was an elimination system. As long as one lost a match, they wouldn't have the chance to continue fighting. It was that simple. If one side admitted defeat, the other side wouldn't be allowed to kill. If they didn't admit defeat, they would fight to the death. The rewards were also mentioned. The first Vanguard and first Commander would have the qualifications to enter the Tianhuang Tower to cultivate. In addition, the second and third place of the Vanguard battle and Commander battle would also have some rewards. They would be able to refine a set of armor and weapons according to the requirements. Such rewards were very coveted because the products of Tianhuang City were all exceptional treasures. The armor and weapons were things that cultivators yearned for even in their dreams. Look at the original chapter, section RT, ***, the Vanguard battle began first. As it was of great importance, each clan sent their elites to participate. There were close to 200 participants. The battle was very cruel. There was no time to rest. As long as one was called to the stage, one had to go up. Exhaustion and injuries were their own problems. It was as iron-blooded as war. Every participant was recommended by the Patriarch and had a number plate. Knight Sorrow was number 9, Long Jin was number 73, and Tianyu was number 60. There was only one arena, which meant that there would be 2 matches. After one match, there would be the next. This was also to give others a chance to observe and appreciate. There were 2 participants in the opening round. One was from the human race and the other was from the heaven-devouring tiger race. They were from the same race as Heaven Lord God Tiger and were both peak Emperor Realm experts. In the end, the human race was defeated. The heaven-devouring tiger race's innate skills were too heaven-defying. The next 3 matches ended quickly because the peak Emperor realm experts from some special races were indeed powerful. It was Knight Sorrow's turn for the 5th match. He was number 9 and was the first to go up the stage. Chapter 1844. Knight Sorrow nodded at Pu Luo. He knew that the first vanguard battle was going to be brutal. Exhaustion and injuries were all factors that could lead to failure. Finishing the battle as quickly as possible was a tactic to reduce exhaustion. If the opponent can't do it, then bring out gold bricks. The Humanitarian League's reputation will be spread at this event. Guys who eat, let everyone see what we're made of, the great Demon King shouted. If they're not virtuous enough, then kill them, Pu Luo added. Knight Sorrow walked onto the arena and bowed to King Yawu. Then, he cupped his hands to the other 4 judges and stood at the side of the arena. As the host, Emperor Tang, called out a number, another contestant stepped onto the arena. Number 10 was a Vulture Emperor. He bowed to the judges and then turned to look at Knight Sorrow. Then, he pushed his arms behind him. Energy surged around his hands, and sharp claws appeared. When the host announced the start of the battle, the Vulture Emperor's body flashed. He charged toward Knight Sorrow at an incredible speed. In an instant, he closed in on Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow didn't move. When the Vulture Emperor was only 200 feet away from him, energy surged from Knight Sorrow's body. Then, his domain rippled out in all directions. Under the impact of Knight Sorrow's domain, the Vulture Emperor's body froze. His speed decreased. At that moment, Knight Sorrow used the Void Step. His body flashed, and he appeared in front of the Vulture Emperor. His right hand formed a claw and grabbed at the Vulture Emperor's throat. The Vulture Emperor raised his right hand and blocked his throat. If Knight Sorrow didn't stop, the Vulture Emperor's claw would pierce him. Knight Sorrow's right hand didn't change direction, but light appeared on his hand. The virtuous immortal body's energy poured into his right hand. At the same time, his right hand formed a fist. This fist smashed into the Vulture Emperor's right hand. When Knight Sorrow's fist landed, a cracking sound was heard. The Vulture Emperor's claw was broken. After breaking one of the monarch's claws, Knight Sorrow stretched out his right hand and grabbed the monarch's right wrist. Then, he exerted force and swung the monarch's body into the air. He threw the monarch over his head and onto the hard arena floor. This was the 100 race conference, so the arena couldn't be damaged. Therefore, there was an array formation, and 2. After being thrown to the ground twice and not a third time, the arch of the vulture race prepared to counterattack. But as soon as he opened his eyes, he saw a flash of golden light. Then, he lost consciousness. Because the human emperor's seal landed firmly on his forehead. Yi Shang glanced at the spirit vulture emperor's body, which had collapsed to the ground like a noodle. He pinned the human emperor's seal to his waist and cupped his hands at the judges. Number 9 wins, announced Emperor Tang, who was in charge of hosting the conference. He stood to the left of the judges. Knight Sorrow left the arena. The unconscious vulture emperor with a bloody bump on his head was also carried off the arena. Oh front dollar hashtag, this guy's body is very strong. Are you sure he's human? Sung Tian asked King Yawu. That's right. I recommended him. I'm not so old that I can't even tell the difference between humans and beasts, said King Yawu. The Humanitarian League is mighty. The league leader is domineering. Ruisi and Yuzhu stood up and roared. The first 4 battles went quickly, but not as quickly as Knight Sorrow. This time, the two sides only made contact once. After that, the Vulture Emperor couldn't fight back. No one can stop me on the path of cultivation, muttered Knight Sorrow when he reached his seat. Then, he sat down. Captain, your strength is getting more and more incomprehensible, said Long Jin. Brother 13, we met. It's a spar between brothers, said Tianyu. You can't hit my head with that thing of yours. It'll make me stupid and leave behind some residual effects. That'll be a serious problem. That guy's evil aura was very strong. He must have killed a lot of people. That's why I hit him. If he's upright, I wouldn't have used that thing, said Night Sorrow with a smile. The battles continued, but there wasn't much of a disparity in strength. After all, those who could participate in the 100 Races Alliance's first vanguard were the most outstanding emperors of their respective races. The 30th battle had Tianyu's name on it. Tianyu went on stage. Although his cultivation was 2 levels lower than his opponent's, Tianyu was fast. His opponent couldn't attack him. On the other hand, Tianyu's sharp claws and wings posed a great threat to his opponent. After an hour, Tianyu's opponent was exhausted and admitted defeat. Not bad, brother. Seeing Tianyu come down, Night Sorrow smiled and nodded. After a few more battles, it was Long Jin's turn. Long Jin didn't transform into his true form, he fought in his human form. He swung his wave blade again and again, and his blade aura became stronger and stronger. His power kept increasing. Golden Dragon King, your clansman has mastered your Golden Dragon Soaring Dragon Blade technique, said Song Tianyun. He hasn't been practicing it for long. Even with time acceleration, it hasn't been 3 years. This king doesn't want to show off, but this king has never seen a cultivator as talented as him. He was born for the Tao of the Blade. The Golden Dragon King's face was full of smiles. He was very satisfied with Long Jin's technique. Soaring Dragon of the Blood Sea, slash. At that moment, Long Jin unleashed his 27th slash. His blade was full, and he unleashed a killing blow. The Grand Elder waved his arm and a wall of energy appeared in front of Long Jin's opponent, blocking the slash. If it hadn't been blocked, the battle would have ended. Then, Emperor Tang announced the end of the battle. Long Jin was victorious. He had defeated his opponent with 27 slashes. Good seedlings. The Humanitarian League is full of talent, said the Grand Elder with a smile. He's from the Golden Dragon clan, said the Golden Dragon King. He's sitting in the Humanitarian League's seat. The Grand Elder didn't refute the Golden Dragon King's words. It was as if he was talking about something else. Why does this king have such a bastard nephew? I'm going to skin him when I get back. The Golden Dragon King said angrily. Your nephew? Chirue turned his head to look at the Golden Dragon King. Yes. His parents ran away. This king only caught him and brought him back to the clan. The Golden Dragon Island currently only has the 2 of us. The Golden Dragon King nodded. This was the tragedy of heaven-defying divine beasts. They had so few clansmen. Then, someone else stepped onto the stage. When he saw who it was, Tianyu's eyes almost spat fire. It was the Green Rock clan's Celestial Cliffs. Chapter 1845. Find a chance to kill him, said the Great Demon King. Heaven's Horizon was very strong. He was a peak Imperial Emperor. Coupled with his racial talent, he won this battle easily. Before leaving the arena, Heaven's Horizon looked at the Humanitarian League seats with disdain in his eyes. Damn it, he's looking at us with disdain. Alliance Master, kill him when you meet him. I hate this kind of look the most, said Yuzhu. Night Sorrow didn't reply, but his heart was filled with killing intent. It wasn't just because of Tianyu, but also because of Heaven's Horizon's performance. He had crippled a human imperial emperor. Yishang didn't have any relationship with that human sovereign emperor. In fact, he didn't even know him. However, when he saw one of his clansmen get one of his arms ripped off by Heaven's cliffs, beaten to the ground, and stomped on a few times, Yishang couldn't suppress his anger. The battle for the first vanguard continued. After 2 rounds, there were still more than 50 people left. At this time, the rules changed again. They no longer fought according to the size of their numbers. Instead, they mixed up the numbers and drew lots. This made it easy to have a cruel situation where one had to fight after the battle. Some participants also used all their unique skills. They used both their clones and their true bodies to fight. Some clones even died. Night Sorrow fought a human imperial emperor. Night Sorrow didn't use the golden brick because the other party didn't annoy him. This meant that the other party's moral character was passable. It was Night Sorrow's turn again. His opponent was the heaven-devouring tiger race's first opponent. I'm Tiger Cold. I have a clone, and so do you. We don't need to use our clones. We'll fight with our true bodies. If we win, we stay. If we lose, we'll leave, Tiger Cold said to Night Sorrow. Okay, then I'll fight with my true body. Night Sorrow nodded. Then can you not use that golden brick? It's too embarrassing to be hit by that. As long as you don't use that, regardless of the outcome, I, Tiger Cold, will owe you face. Tiger Cold said. He had seen the fate of the vulture race's imperial emperor. It was too miserable, so he felt a little uneasy. The Humanitarian League's gold brick of humanity punishes evil and promotes good. It is a trial for cultivators with bad conduct. There's nothing wrong with your moral integrity. Our Humanitarian League won't mess around with humanitarian gold bars. You're not bad, so I won't use it, Night Sorrow said. He had a good impression of Tiger Cold and knew that there was nothing wrong with his moral integrity. Soon after, the battle between the two of them began. Night Sorrow brandished his reincarnation spear and added his domain onto the reincarnation spear. The profoundness of the Ling Tian spear art was also infused into the spear. Tiger Cold's battle saber was very fierce, but he couldn't suppress Night Sorrow in terms of strength. The defense of his domain was also ineffective against Night Sorrow's spear art. Night Sorrow's compressed domain on his reincarnation spear directly tore apart Tiger Cold's domain. After fighting for a while, Night Sorrow executed the true dragon destruction art. While affecting Tiger Cold's soul, he executed the spatial crack to block Tiger Cold's dodging route. Then, the reincarnation spear shuttled forward and reached the throat of the constantly retreating Tiger Cold. Tiger Cold was not as fast as Night Sorrow when retreating head-on. Looking at the reincarnation spear at his throat, Tiger Cold smiled. I've lost. I admit defeat. Night Sorrow retreated and extended his right arm. The reincarnation spear returned to the holster on his back. This is more interesting. It can be considered a battle between men, Chirue commented on the battle. Then, it was Tianyu's turn to go on stage. Although the battle was very difficult, he still won. After Long Jin went on stage, his opponent was stronger. He transformed into his true form. The 3-kilometer-long golden dragon grabbed a huge golden brick and smashed it. His opponent could only dodge and couldn't fight back. Under such circumstances, he could only admit defeat. How embarrassing. The Golden Dragon King spat out 2 words in the face of Long Jin's performance. He has the chance to be the first vanguard. However, it depends on whether he can defeat Night Sorrow, the Green Rock race, and the elites of the Nine-Tailed Fox race. King Yawu, who had been silent all this time, said. The battle continued. Only a few people had dazzling performances. Heaven's Horizon was very powerful. After all, the Green Rock race was a divine beast with extraordinary talent. Their cultivation was top-notch among the imperial emperors, and their talent was top-notch. Not many opponents could withstand them. Green Rock race leader, isn't this member of your race a little too ruthless? If he doesn't train his temperament, he won't be able to go far. Chirue was somewhat dissatisfied with Heaven's Horizon's methods because he had crippled one of his opponents. Focus on the matter, not the person. Such a temperament is not suitable to be the first vanguard. If he becomes the first vanguard, he will need to be taught first, the Grand Elder said. This is my fault for not teaching him properly, Green Rock race leader Tian Yinsang said. When there were only 20 people left, Night Sorrow and Long Jin met. Haha. Captain, let's go on stage and try. Long Jin went on stage first and said to Night Sorrow with a smile. Alright, let's try. Night Sorrow went on stage. Night Sorrow and Long Jin looked at each other. One had a spear on his back, while the other had a saber on his back. However, neither of them had any intention of taking out their weapons. Long Jin's body flashed, and he threw a punch at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow knew that Long Jin was one of the overlords of the Golden Dragon race. His body was powerful, but he didn't dodge. His right hand met Long Jin's punch. Bang! With a muffled sound, their fists collided. However, neither of them retreated. Their fists collided, and they both tried to push each other back. However, neither of them moved. As the energy continued to collide, the aura of the two became more and more violent. The shadow of a golden dragon appeared behind Long Jin. The shadow of the golden dragon circled around and roared angrily. Night Sorrow's body glowed with a golden light, and a vision appeared behind him. The sun, moon, mountains, and rivers appeared in the vision, and the words of the Book of Taoism flowed. Golden Dragon Totem, Book of Taoism. This is a rare fight, King Yawu said. Back. Night Sorrow spat out a word. Then, the golden light on his body pulsed and entered his body. He then used his strength to push Long Jin back. I lost, but I still want to test the captain's strength. Roaming Dragon. Long Jin retreated and then soared into the air. Totemic power merged into his body and he pounced. His right hand turned into a dragon claw and grabbed towards Night Sorrow. Yi Shang waved his right hand and used the heaven-covering hand to slap Long Jin's right claw. Then, he charged forward and punched Long Jin's dragon claw that had been hit by the heaven-covering hand. Bang! With a loud explosion of energy, Night Sorrow took a few steps back. Long Jin's body was sent flying. After a somersault, he landed on the ground. However, his feet were already outside the ring. Look at the LR version of Q5 chapter. Smiling, Long Jin walked onto the stage. I know that the captain has a deep understanding of fighting, and is best at fighting techniques. Since the captain has played with me head-on, and I lost, there is nothing to say. After speaking, Long Jin looked at the Golden Dragon King, who was at the referee's table. The Golden Dragon King stood up and said, "You fought well. You have the style of a golden dragon. You didn't lose face when you met a monster. In the future, you will return to Dragon Island once in a while. You are free to do otherwise. Night Sorrow wins this match." The host, Emperor Tang, said. Chapter 1846. At that moment, Night Sorrow felt uncomfortable. His glory shouldn't be built on his brother. Challenge. This was Night Sorrow's challenge to all the cultivators participating in the battle for the first vanguard position. Night Sorrow, quickly go down and follow the rules. Emperor Tang looked at Night Sorrow and said. Night Sorrow was the human race's most likely candidate for the first vanguard position. Therefore, he didn't want anything to happen to Night Sorrow. Men should behave like men. The battle for the first vanguard and the first commander position has been held many times in the 100 Races Alliance Conference. Every time, it's the same old tune. If you want to do something different. This way, the future generations will remember it. The current format is very good. There are still 20 participants. Whoever is capable can go up. The loser will lose the qualification while the winner can apply for a break. The last person standing on the arena will be the first vanguard of the 100 Races Alliance, said King Yawu. Spirit Tree Race, flower without words. I admire your battle strength and courage, but you can't treat the Imperial Emperors as nothing. Let me test your strength. A cultivator went up on the arena. It was Flower Without Words, a peak Imperial Emperor from the Spirit Tree race. He had already defeated a few opponents. Alright, come on. Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear shook, and his battle-intent soared. Flower Without Words cultivated the sword Dao. His sword was extremely fast, and his domain was a level 5 domain. After Night Sorrow displayed his spear art, he directly suppressed Flower Without Words. Flower Without Words' domain was ineffective. It was torn apart by Night Sorrow's spear art that contained a compressed domain. After Night Sorrow used the true dragon destruction art, the linked void extreme kill annihilated Flower Without Words' longsword. The reincarnation spear stopped at Flower Without Words' forehead. It only took a moment. You lost. Night Sorrow withdrew his reincarnation spear and took a few steps back. Yes, I lost. No matter how domineering you are, I have no right to question you. Flower Without Words retreated after saying that. Following which, the contenders for the position of number 1 Vanguard went up onto the arena one after another. Night Sorrow did not rest. He brandished his reincarnation spear and moved unhindered on the arena. No opponent was able to withstand his attacks. So what if he sent out a clone? The spatial rend cut and blocked the opponent's doppelganger. The soul-extinguishing slash, together with the true dragon destruction art and the great emperor reincarnation slash, would result in a fatal blow. The referees in the referee's booth made their moves one after another to stop Night Sorrow's killing move. Because they were too slow in stopping it, it was easy for injuries to occur. Night Sorrow, you've won 7 matches in a row. Do you need to rest? Emperor Tang asked. His eyes were filled with admiration. Regardless of the outcome of the battle for the position of First Vanguard, the name of Night Sorrow of the human race would be passed down among the 100 races. With his spear, no one among the imperial emperors could match his sharpness. I don't need it. Night Sorrow shook his head. He had no intention of going down the arena yet. He had not expended much energy. I originally planned for you to go down and rest after you couldn't hold on any longer. I would then come up and fight you at your peak. It seems that no one can force you down yet. A woman walked onto the arena. I'm in a good condition now. Night Sorrow looked at the coquettish woman from the Nine-Tailed Fox clan and said, My name is Bai Lingling. It's fine as long as you're in a good condition. However, I want to make a bet with you. Bai Lingling said. What do you want to bet on? Night Sorrow was somewhat puzzled. I want to bet on her. If I win, you can ask Yi Mei to change her name. Our Nine-Tailed Fox clan's surname is Bai, but her surname is Yi. Bai Lingling pointed at Yi Mei in the Humanitarian League's seating area and said. Back then, she didn't have a name and always followed me. She called me Big Brother. Later on, she changed her name to Yi Mei. I'm not forcing this on her. It's her freedom to call herself whatever she wants. No one can bet on it. It's disrespectful. I won't accept this bet. Night Sorrow refused. She said that as long as you, Night Sorrow, nod your head, she will change her name. Bai Lingling did not give up. No one can use my brothers and sisters to negotiate conditions. You want me to nod my head? You think too much. If it's something that belongs to me, Night Sorrow, then I'll accept it. Anything else is off. Night Sorrow was somewhat impatient because Bai Lingling's words were somewhat disrespectful. Damn it. After cursing, Bai Lingling made her move. Her doppelganger appeared. The real body and the doppelganger waved their swords. Sword Chi lingered around the arena. Mist rose up in the arena. Bai Lingling transformed into her beast form. A huge white fox appeared. 9 tails stood up behind her. Each tail emitted a halo of light, forming a domain. Not good. She used the psychedelic domain. It will affect the soul. If one is confused, they will enter an illusion. Once they get lost, they will be in big trouble. Yi Mei, who was sitting in the Humanitarian League seats, stood up anxiously. Everyone else took a wait-and-see attitude. They were afraid that no one would be able to fight Night Sorrow head-on. This was because in a head-on fight, even the Golden Dragon clan's Long Jean was not Night Sorrow's opponent. The others were even worse. The psychedelic domain was a test of the soul. Perhaps it was Night Sorrow's weakness. CD, Original Chapter B, Unspecified Currency Section L. Riff Night Sorrow's soul was his weakness and his willpower was not strong enough, then Bai Lingling would have a chance to win. You want to mess with my mind? But my heart is like the sun and moon. My spear can decide the universe. Open. Night Sorrow's roar came from the mist. Then, a golden light appeared in front of Bilingling. Night Sorrow's doppelganger used the Blood Kirin Evil Slayer spear. The virtuous golden light broke through Bilingling's psychedelic domain. Not far from Bilingling, Night Sorrow's doppelganger used the Blood Kirin Evil Slayer spear, aiming for Bilingling's head. Night Sorrow's real body also used the Great Emperor's reincarnation slash, aiming for Bilingling's dantian. He lost. His willpower is as strong as iron. Psychedelic attacks are useless. The Golden Dragon King shook his head. Tsang Tian waved his arm and used his energy to imprison Night Sorrow's real body and doppelganger. Then, he pulled them back to the center of the arena. At the same time, he waved his sleeve and cleared the energy from the arena. Bilingling's face was pale. She knew that if Tsang Tian hadn't interfered, Night Sorrow would have killed her. She wouldn't have been able to defend herself. You really want to kill me? Bilingling turned into her human form and asked Night Sorrow. That's right. I want to kill you. You went against my and Yimay's wishes and took her away. Now, you want to use her as a wager? No one can have ideas about my brothers and sisters. If anyone wants to go against their wishes and force them to do something, I, Night Sorrow, will not allow it. Night Sorrow said coldly. Then do you know that if you kill me, you'll become an enemy of the Nine-Tailed Fox clan? Bilingling said coldly. If you don't give me and my brothers and sisters face, I don't care what race you are. Night Sorrow said, pointing his reincarnation spear at the ground. Tianyu and the others looked at Yimei. There were tears in her eyes. Having a brother like you is the happiest thing in my life. Emperor Tang announced Night Sorrow's victory and clapped his hands. Following Emperor Tang's clapping, all the human cultivators followed suit. The human race needed a cultivator like Night Sorrow. With a cultivator like him, there was no need to worry about the human race's prosperity. Chapter 1847. The referees looked at Tsang Skycloud, who closed his eyes. When Night Sorrow had tried to kill Bilingling, Tsang Skycloud had known that Night Sorrow would seek out Heaven's Horizon. Night Sorrow had offended the Nine-Tailed Fox clan for Yimei's sake. If he wanted justice for Tianyu, he wouldn't be afraid of the Green Rock clan either. Do you think you're invincible just because you beat a bunch of weaklings? Heaven's Horizon rose to his feet and looked Night Sorrow in the eye. What a pig, said the Demon King, laughing. Who knows how many people he's offended with that one sentence? He's even more annoying than the League Lord himself. He's a natural-born taunt. As the Demon King spoke, many of the Vanguard members rose to their feet. They'd lost to Night Sorrow, but they were all emperors and the pride of their clans. Night Sorrow had defeated Night Sorrow with his strength. They didn't like it, but they had to admit defeat. But what did Heaven's Horizon think he was? He'd blasted them with his mouth. That's some bullsh** T. He's attacking everyone indiscriminately. Haha. I'm dying of laughter. Pu Luo laughed as well. Tsang Skycloud didn't open his eyes. He just took a deep breath. Heaven's Horizon's words had offended far too many people. He could feel the Golden Dragon King's murderous intent. Even Golden Dragon had lost to Night Sorrow. Did the Golden Dragon clan really think they were weaklings? Tsang Skycloud, said Kirin, don't you think your clansmen have gone too far? He'll give you an explanation, said Tsang Skycloud. Your mouth stinks. I've fought others before, but if they want to drink tea or spar with me, I, Night Sorrow, won't refuse. Opponents and enemies are two different things. I respect my opponents. Night Sorrow looked at Heaven's Horizon. Full marks. With that one sentence, the other clans won't be hostile to Night Sorrow. League Lord, you can, said the Demon King. This is an arena battle. Or I'll kill you. Heaven's Horizon looked at the referees. The Golden Dragon King looked at the other referees. Seeing no one speak, he stood. Not bad. You have the determination to fight to the death. You're a good cultivator. Don't try to convince me. Of course. Heaven's Horizon nodded. Heaven's Horizon, said the Golden Dragon. Night Sorrow. 2. The Golden Dragon King was encouraging Heaven's Horizon at this moment. In fact, it was obvious that he wanted Heaven's Horizon to die. Pu Luo, the Great Demon King, and Lin Piaomiao looked at each other before turning to look at Long Jin. They sympathized with Long Jin because the Golden Dragon King was a huge pit. They didn't know how Long Jin survived. Then let's fight to the death. The winner will decide. Night Sorrow said. Green Rock Clan leader. You don't have any objections? The Golden Dragon King looked at Cloudy Horizon. I don't care. Cloudy Horizon was furious. Not only was Heaven's Horizon lacking in temperament, he was also lacking in intelligence. The Golden Dragon King was clearly telling him to die, but he didn't understand. Fine. Then let's fight to the death. The Golden Dragon King sat down. Golden Dragon King, you're too much of a scammer. Kirin said. Scammer? Who's a chicken or a dog? His whole family is a chicken or a dog. Of course, this king wasn't talking about the Green Rock Clan leader. He has a big mouth. Let's see how strong he is. The Golden Dragon King looked at the Green Rock Clan leader, who had turned his head away. At the same time, he made it clear that he wasn't happy. He wanted Heaven's Horizon dead. The Grand Elder and King Yowu were helpless. The Golden Dragon King was like this. No one could do anything about it. Their grudge isn't new. Back in the Heaven's Horizon, when I wasn't paying attention, he bullied my grandson, Tianyu. Therefore, Night Sorrow wants to avenge Tianyu. Even if Night Sorrow doesn't deal with him, I will skin him alive. Cloudy Horizon said. With Cloudy Horizon's words, everyone knew why Night Sorrow was pointing his spear at the Green Rock Clan. The grudge had existed even before the arena battle. Cloudy Horizon, you're unhappy too. You want to borrow Night Sorrow's hand to avenge your grandson. Kirin said with a smile. At this moment, the atmosphere in the arena was tense. Night Sorrow and Celestial Cliffs looked at each other, waiting for the host, Tang Zong's order. You'll know that in front of absolute speed, you're trash. Heaven's Horizon looked coldly at Night Sorrow. He was confident in his speed. Otherwise, he wouldn't have accepted the death match. Night Sorrow didn't say anything in response. The death match had been approved by the judges. Everything would be decided by strength. Emperor Tang saw King Yowu nod and then announced the start of the battle. Hearing Emperor Tang's words, Heaven's Horizon's body shook. A pair of wings appeared on his back and a battle blade appeared in his hand. The battle blade was his life weapon, formed from his own rock beak. Brandishing the battle blade, Heaven's Horizon charged towards Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear and blocked Heaven's Horizon's attack, repelling him. In terms of strength, Heaven's Horizon wasn't Night Sorrow's opponent. Retreating after a clash, Heaven's Horizon surrounded Night Sorrow and began to attack. His speed was really fast. One could see a series of afterimages with the naked eye. However, Heaven's Horizon still couldn't break through Night Sorrow's defense. Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear had no openings. He released his domain, and Heaven's Horizon's attack was slowed down when it entered the domain. Let's see how long you can defend. Heaven's Horizon roared and released his doppelganger. Together, he and his doppelganger attacked Night Sorrow. At this time, Night Sorrow's doppelganger also appeared. Heaven's Horizon was his last strong opponent. If he defeated Heaven's Horizon and vented his anger for Tianyu, he would almost be the first vanguard. After Night Sorrow's doppelganger appeared, the domain that was originally only protecting his body shook and burst out in all directions, enveloping Heaven's Horizon within. The domain controlled by the light of virtue was extremely powerful. It instantly suppressed Heaven's Horizon's speed. After reducing Heaven's Horizon's speed, Night Sorrow's original body and doppelganger simultaneously used space rend, separating Heaven's Horizon's original body and doppelganger. Then, the crescent blades of 6 soul-extinguishing slashes were sent towards Heaven's Horizon's doppelganger. Afterward, the original body and doppelganger also approached Heaven's Horizon's doppelganger. Night Sorrow's doppelganger used the blood-chilling evil-punishing spear to execute the true dragon annihilation. His original body held the human emperor's seal in his left hand and arrived above Heaven's Horizon's doppelganger. At this moment, Heaven's Horizon's doppelganger was attacked by the crescent blades of 6 soul-extinguishing slashes. Its soul began to defend itself. Then, it was affected by Night Sorrow's doppelganger's true dragon annihilation slash. Its body stopped in the air and was unable to move. Night Sorrow's original body came down from the top. The human emperor's seal covered Heaven's Horizon's doppelganger's head and smashed it to the ground. Then, the reincarnation spear in his right hand executed the void extreme kill and shot out. It pierced through Heaven's Horizon's doppelganger's chest and nailed it face down to the arena. The arena's ground was incomparably hard. However, Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear could still pierce a hole through it. Night Sorrow's doppelganger executed the true dragon annihilation slash. After affecting Heaven's Horizon's doppelganger, he turned around and intercepted Heaven's Horizon's original body. His original body landed on Heaven's Horizon's doppelganger's back. One of his feet stepped on a wing. Then, the dazzling human emperor's seal in his left hand smashed towards the back of Heaven's Horizon's head. K, forever %5, free to watch E. Little L says K%. Chapter 1848. After the fourth slap, Heaven's Horizon's doppelganger's head was gone. Night Sorrow had an energy shield around him. Otherwise, the blood would have splattered all over his body. Standing up, Yi Xuan's domain energy crisscrossed and shredded Heaven's Horizon's doppelganger. Night Sorrow's main body joined the battle between Heaven's Horizon and his doppelganger. I'll definitely kill you. Heaven's Horizon's rage soared to the heavens because his clone had been destroyed by Night Sorrow, leaving not even a corpse behind. This isn't the first time you've said this. Today, you will regret being born in this world. Night Sorrow's main body and doppelganger's attacks became more violent. Dragons have reverse scales. Humans are the same. There are some places that cannot be touched. Heaven's Horizon is now the price for touching this reverse scale, the Golden Dragon King said. The battle on the stage was one-sided. Heaven's Horizon could only dodge. He had no power to fight back. I concede. Heaven's Horizon shouted. However, he was interrupted by Night Sorrow's heaven-covering hand. He realized that the gap between him and Night Sorrow was too big. There was no way he could win, so he wanted to admit defeat. You have a chance. Night Sorrow's main body and avatar unleashed 2 spatial rifts. Then, 6 crescent blades of soul-extinguishing slash attacked Heaven's Horizon's God Sea. Then, the avatar's blood-chilling evil-slaying spear unleashed true dragon destructive spell and a set of control skills. It was useless for Heaven's Horizon to admit defeat. This was a life-and-death arena. However, Night Sorrow didn't want to follow his wishes. He wouldn't give him the chance to admit defeat. While Heaven's Horizon was in a daze, Night Sorrow's main body used the human emperor's seal to cover Heaven's Horizon's face. Then, he rode on Heaven's Horizon's body and smashed the brick down, knocking Heaven's Horizon unconscious. Then, he took out the ice dragon tendon from the sky-piercing spear and tied up Heaven's Horizon's wings and legs like a pig. You hit my brother and despise the Humanitarian League. You have the right to do so. After tying him up, Night Sorrow slapped Heaven's Horizon awake. Too violent. At this moment, the vanguard contenders who had fought with Night Sorrow were relieved that they hadn't triggered Night Sorrow's berserk mode. A life and death battle. Yi Shang stood up and looked at the referee's stand as he asked, "Is it up to me to decide who lives and who dies?" "Yes. But you still have to think about it," the Grand Elder said. Night Sorrow sent Heaven's Horizon flying with a flying kick. His body landed in the Humanitarian League seats. Green Rock Clan leader, Night Sorrow declares that I have no intention of being hostile to the Green Rock Clan. Today, I am here to seek justice for my brother Tianyu. Tianyu, Long Jin, Roy C., you deal with him. Tianyu, you can vent your anger. I don't want to see him again. Roy C. stood up and stepped on Heaven's Horizon's back. He looked at Night Sorrow and said, Alliance Master, apart from his grudge with Tianyu, how is his character? If his character is good enough, I'll give him a quick death. He doesn't deserve the word character. If he did, I'd just teach him a lesson. His spirit is black. How many sins do you think he's committed? Night Sorrow looked Roy C. in the eye. Then that's enough. Brothers and sisters of the Alliance, the Humanitarian League doesn't do anything excessive. Punishing evil and promoting good is our mission. But if someone dares commit evil, then he'll be an example. If he doesn't deserve to be a man, then don't be one. Roy C. picked Heaven's Horizon up and left. Sung Yun stood, wanting to say something, but didn't move. But Tian Yunhai of the Green Rock Clan stood. You'd best behave yourself. Pu Luo said when he saw Tian Yunhai rise. Pu Luo, what's the meaning of this? Tian Yunhai growled. How boring. You want to save someone? If you dare, then I don't mind keeping you company. Pu Luo's fighting spirit soared, and he tossed the golden brick in his hand. This matter ends here. If this is a fight to the death, then we must abide by the rules. Everyone, sit down. The Grand Elder pointed his golden spear at the ground. Pu Luo gave Tian Yunhai a look of disdain, then sat down. If Tian Yunhai dared to stop Roy C., then he'd smack him in the head. Night Sorrow clasped his hands around his spear and clasped them in salute. My apologies. I was a little emotional. Please forgive me. Not bad, the Demon King said, crossing his arms. Once you've gone berserk, you're a true gentleman. Emperor Tang asked if Night Sorrow was resting. After receiving a positive answer, Emperor Tang looked to the remaining vanguard contenders and asked if anyone wanted to take the stage. Emperor Tang asked for a while, but no one came out to fight. Judges, Night Sorrow is the last vanguard contender standing on the arena. No one wants to challenge him. Emperor Tang clasped his hands in salute to the 5 judges. Since no one wants to challenge him, then Night Sorrow is the vanguard of this year's 100 Races Alliance. In addition, the Heaven Wasteland Army's first army is now recruiting. The elites who just fought can all sign up. Next are the 2nd and 3rd ranked contenders. They don't need to fight. The 5 judges will decide based on the strength of the battle, the Grand Elder said. The 5 judges were all powerhouses. Their decisions were absolutely fair, and no one would question them. After a while, Chi-E stood up. According to the analysis of the battle situation, in the Vanguard battle, other than Night Sorrow, the Golden Dragon race's Long Jin is shockingly strong and has the strength of 2nd place. The 3rd place should have been Heaven's Horizon of the Green Rock race, but unfortunately, he has lost the qualification. The remaining 2 are Tiger Cold of the Heaven-Devouring Tiger race and Bilingling of the Nine-Tailed Fox race. Both of them are evenly matched, so they won't continue to fight. They are 3rd place. Hearing Chi-Yi's announcement, Long Jin, Tiger Cold, and Bilingling stood up and clasped their hands in thanks. After that, the meeting announced that they would take a break for now. Tomorrow, the battle for the position of First Commander would begin. The dust had settled, and the biggest winners were Night Sorrow and the Human Alliance. Forever, free of D and, look at the small talk. The words, Human Tao Gold Brick, were imprinted in everyone's mind. Even the emperors were afraid because the Humanitarian League didn't only have Night Sorrow as their emperor. There were also a few other powerful emperors. If they provoked them, they wouldn't have a good ending. The Humanitarian League returned to Night Sorrow's courtyard. A celebration was necessary. After the banquet was set up, Ruisi, Long Jin, and Tianyu returned. You guys dealt with him? Yu Zhu asked. Yes, Rui Si is very good. With his help, the celestial cliffs made a woman and she was taken by a wild boar. Then, she was thrown down the wall of the heavenly desolate city to die on her own, Long Jean said. Why didn't you just kill him? Night Sorrow looked at the three of them. Then, Ruisi explained the reason. The seventh elder and the Green Rock Race's leader appeared. The seventh elder asked if they could give Heaven's Horizon a chance. After consulting with Tianyu, Long Jean, and himself, the Green Rock Race's leader exiled him. He has no backbone and can't survive. He'll defect easily. Night Sorrow shook his head helplessly. Haha. Let's not care about him. It's so satisfying to be taken by a wild boar. Let's see who dares to look down on our humanitarian league again, Yu Zhu said with a smile. Chapter 1849. King Yawu wasn't the only one who came. The Grand Elder was there too. Martial Uncle, Great Elder. Yi Shang bowed in greeting. The others also cupped their hands in greeting. You did well today, King Yawu said after sitting down. I was too angry today and did things too rashly. Please forgive me, Uncle, Night Sorrow said. King Yawu shook his head. He didn't blame Night Sorrow. He felt that it was good to follow one's heart. A man should be ambitious and dare to fight against the world. Very good. You raised the morale of the human race and proved that the human race has a successor, Grand Elder said. He was also very happy. Night Sorrow made tea for King Yawu and the Grand Elder. Don't worry about those small fries. Just kill them directly. It's not fun to let them cause trouble. Also, consider the reputation of all parties. If there's anyone looking for trouble with you, just kill them first, King Yawu said. The Great Elder told Yi Shang that there were some follow-up matters to be taken care of, and then he left with King Yawu. Not long after King Yawu left, Qi Rui brought Lin Yun and Lin Yu to congratulate him. Then, he handed Lin Yu to Night Sorrow because Lin Yu wanted to develop the Humanitarian League. Night Sorrow didn't refuse. The Blood Qilin race was kind enough to him. After Qi Rui left, the Golden Dragon King came. He still had a long face as if someone owed him money. N62 permanent Y free equals O fee look small. After sitting down, the Golden Dragon King glanced at Night Sorrow. I really couldn't tell that you were such a ruthless person. Long Jean, work hard and defeat this kid. Uncle, I've worked hard these years. Besides, brothers fight side by side, Long Jean said. How disappointing. Night Sorrow brat, you and the Humanitarian League are pretty good. I'll leave the Night Sorrow with you. If you encounter anything you can't handle, just go to the Dragon Island and shout. Don't bother this king with small matters. After giving Night Sorrow a look of disdain, the Golden Dragon King disappeared from Night Sorrow's courtyard. Night Sorrow shook his head helplessly. The Golden Dragon King was also a troublemaker. If it wasn't for the Golden Dragon King, Heaven's Horizon would have been really difficult to kill. The rules of the arena were within the rules, and even if he were to kill, the referee would have stopped him. As they chatted, everyone looked at the Great Demon King and asked if he had any confidence in the competition for the position of First Commander tomorrow. The Great Demon King put down his wine cup and patted his chest. Everyone had more confidence in the Great Demon King. His situation was different from Night Sorrow's. Night Sorrow was fighting his way up with a lower cultivation level. He was fighting above his cultivation level, which required battle strength. The Great Demon King had passed the 6 tribulations of the Heavenly Tao. When he fought against ordinary emperors, he was fighting his way down. Besides, before he passed the Emperor's tribulation, he was already one of the top emperors. Therefore, it wasn't difficult for him. Long Jean asked about the situation of the god-slaying team. He missed that group of brothers. After Yu, Tianyu, and Yi Mei were taken away, Auntie Fei and Lord Long Xian were also taken away. This put a lot of pressure on the brothers of the god-slaying team. Therefore, they are now working hard to raise their cultivation level. To be honest, they are under a lot of pressure to be brothers with us, Night Sorrow said. Long Jin, Tianyu, Yi Mei, and the others nodded. They knew that the brothers of the god-slaying squad were all eager to be strong. They didn't want to fall behind the pace of the battle. This was something that they had all deeply felt. When Yi Shang had been fighting outside, they had also been anxious as they watched. At this moment, the various clans of the 100 Races Alliance were having a meeting. The main thing was to emphasize that they shouldn't provoke the Humanitarian League led by Night Sorrow. The Green Rock clan had a villa in Tianhuang City. At this moment, Sang Tian was roaring inside. The other Green Rock clan members didn't dare to make a sound, including Elder Tian Yunhai. The Green Rock clan respected the strong. Why was Sang Tian the clan leader and Tian Yunhai not? Because of the difference in strength, Sang Tian could sit in the referee's seat. Tian Yunhai could only sit in the Green Rock clan's seat. You're not that strong, but you've learned how to be a tyrant? You're good at internal battles, but what about external battles? You're not good enough, you're not smart enough, and you're not strong enough either. What a disgrace. Sang Tian pointed his finger and scolded. If any of you dare look at my grandson with disdain again, I dare you. After cursing for a while, Sang Tian finally calmed down. This time, an elder of the Nine-Tailed Fox clan had come. Bai Zizhen. Lingling, you're being a bit rash. The patriarch said not to force Yi Mei. If you do this, she'll dislike you. Bai Zizhen looked at Bai Lingling. I just want Yi Mei to feel a sense of belonging. We, the mighty Nine-Tailed Fox clan, have a human surname. That doesn't make sense, Bai Lingling said quietly. Let's put that aside for now. Also, don't feel superior. Humans are the leader of the 100 races. Although their talent for cultivation is uneven, excellent cultivators have always existed. Right now, the strongest members of the 100 Races Alliance are humans. The Lord of Tianhuang City and the Lord of the Divine Capital are both almighty figures who maintain the stability of the 100 races. Let's talk about Night Sorrow. He's only 200 years old and has become an imperial emperor. Moreover, he's an imperial emperor who can fight above his level. There has never been such a genius in the history of our clan. Bai Zizhen looked at Bai Lingling and said. She could understand Bai Lingling's mentality. Bai Lingling wanted to contribute to the clan and make her presence known so that the clan would value her more. Bai Lingling nodded. Although she was unwilling, Bai Zizhen had made it clear. She couldn't talk about it anymore. Bai Zizhen then talked about the competition for the first commander. For this 100 Races Alliance conference, the Nine-Tailed Fox clan had high hopes for the first vanguard. According to their investigation, the human race didn't have any outstanding imperial emperors. Of course, they didn't know Night Sorrow because Night Sorrow wasn't an imperial emperor a few years ago. As for the first commander, the human race's Fiend God ranking list was a reference. The top few on the Fiend God ranking list were too strong. Lin Piaomiao, the Great Demon King, and Fan Tian were all outstanding imperial emperors. It was too difficult to get the first commander from them. The 100 Races Elders Guild also reported about the restrictions for the first commander. Bai Zizhen was a guild elder and knew the current level of Lin Piaomiao, the Great Demon King, and the others. Although Lin Piaomiao had withdrawn from this competition, with the Great Demon King and Fan Tian participating, it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens to snatch the first commander from the human race. Bai Lingling and the others bowed. They knew the level of Lin Piaomiao, the Great Demon King, and Fan Tian. Also, Lingling, report to the first commander of the Heaven Wasteland Army later, Bai Zizhen said. Bai Lingling looked at Bai Zizhen in confusion. The Nine-Tailed Fox clan had members in the Heaven Wasteland Army, but they were all ordinary clan members. An elite of the clan like her wouldn't be arranged to serve in the army. There are some things you don't know. Do you know why this 100 Races Alliance conference was held in advance? Because of the need to compete with the Demon Wing clan, the selection this time is to enter the reincarnation battlefield. That was the battlefield where the Hundred Races Alliance and the Demon Wing clan fought in the previous reincarnation. It should be said that it was the battlefield between the human race and the Demon Wing clan. That was where the human emperor and the demon ancestor fought, Bai Zizhen said. Chapter 1850. That was the Hundred Races Alliance's victory. The human race was the leader. Too many elites of the Hundred Races had died, so there were many remnants. It's an opportunity to enter the reincarnation battlefield. Our Nine-Tailed Fox clan also had an ancestor who died there, so we should enter if we can, Bai Zizhen said. If I want to join the first army of the Hundred Races Alliance, then I have to work according to Night Sorrow's wishes. Bai Lingling was somewhat reluctant. Night Sorrow is the Merit Emperor. Is it shameful to work under him? Do you think you're nobler than those in the Humanitarian League? If you can't think about your clan, then go back now. After hearing Bai Lingling's words, Bai Zizhen could not suppress her anger and immediately glared at Bai Lingling. Bai Lingling trembled. This was the first time the good-tempered Bai Zizhen lost her temper in front of her clan. Seeing that Bai Lingling was silent, Bai Zizhen snorted coldly. Only a few people know about this. Why did the Golden Dragon King leave Long Jean in the Humanitarian League? Is Ancestor Green Rock also willing to put his grandson in the Humanitarian League? It's all for this matter. Open the spacetime channel and send the highest cultivation level into the reincarnation battlefield. If it's an emperor, then the spacetime channel will not be stable, so this time the first army of the Heaven Wasteland Army will be in charge. The Grand Elder and King Yowu were talking in the Grand Elder's small world about the reincarnation battlefield. They did not tell Night Sorrow because Night Sorrow had to enter the Heaven Wasteland Tower for a period of time. They did not want to distract Night Sorrow during this time. About opening the spacetime channel, we'll have to trouble you, Grand Elder, King Yowu said to the Grand Elder. #P version J equals first 8 shots, it's nothing. The two city lords can't have any mishaps. They have to be in their best condition at all times because we don't know when the demon-winged clan will attack. The black dragons are also a hidden danger. The Grand Elder nodded. In the past, I've always considered the feelings of the Golden Dragon King and the Cyan Dragons, so I didn't attack them ruthlessly. This time, when they attacked the Blood Chelan clan, they obviously have no bottom line. I can tolerate it the first time, but I can't tolerate it the second time. Later, I will talk to the Golden Dragon King and make a trip to the Azure Dragons. Last time, Brother Tran Hung also didn't give the Azure Dragons face, King Yowu said. King Yowu said that the last time the Azure Dragons came to ask Tran Hung why the members of the other races of the Hundred Races Alliance couldn't be listed on the Celestial and Demon ranking. In the end, they were slapped away by Tran Hung. The Azure Dragon King didn't know Tran Hung's identity, so he asked the Hundred Races Alliance's Council of Elders to make a decision. The human race directly rejected it, which made the Azure Dragons feel embarrassed. Therefore, in recent years, the Azure Dragons didn't participate in some of the Hundred Races Alliance's activities. The Grand Elder nodded. Things had to be resolved. The Golden Dragon King was the leader of the dragons, so the Black and Azure Dragons also needed to be discussed with him. Night Sorrow and the others didn't know about this situation and were celebrating. Night Sorrow took the first vanguard position and obtained the opportunity to enter the Wasteland Tower. The Humanitarian League also became famous. Everyone was happy and drank a little more wine. The next day, a group of people came to the martial arts arena in high spirits. A day ago, not many members of the Hundred Races Alliance knew Night Sorrow. When they saw the Humanitarian League seats, they snorted and looked down on them. However, it was different now. When they saw Night Sorrow and the others, they all nodded in acknowledgement. The Humanitarian League was strong and had many backers. Night Sorrow's cultivation was low, but his potential was huge. In addition, in the last stage yesterday, Night Sorrow stood on the arena and challenged more than 20 contenders for the first vanguard position. His domineering aura was admirable. Tiger Cold cupped his hands at Night Sorrow, and Flower Without Words also nodded in acknowledgement. Night Sorrow cupped his hands in return. He had a good impression of these people. To be able to cultivate to the monarch realm, one's temperament was very important. Of course, there were also people with extreme temperaments and couldn't bear the pressure, or their temperament changed after some achievements. They couldn't be generalized. Heaven's Cliffs was an example. 13th brother, you look so handsome wearing Night Moon's king battle armor. Yi Mei smiled. Hee. Yesterday, I gave that nine-tailed fox clans by Lingling a hard time. You won't be troubled when you go back, right? But don't worry, 13th brother, will trouble whoever makes things difficult for you. Night Sorrow turned around and patted Yi Mei's shoulder. Yeah. I'm not afraid of trouble. Yi Mei smiled. Brother, you're so good to Yi Mei. Lin Yu said with a smile. You call me brother. If anyone dares to bully you, I'll greet them with my fists. Night Sorrow waved his hand at Lin Yu. The battle for the first commander position began under the supervision of the judges and Emperor Tang. The battle this time was completely a performance by the Great Demon King and Fen Tian. The two of them sent golden bricks flying everywhere, and no one could stop them. This made the contenders for the first commander position in the 100 Races Alliance shudder in fear. Whoever was hit by the golden bricks would feel pain. The Great Demon King and Fen Tian were strong. One of them had passed the 6 tribulations of the heavenly law, while the other had passed the 5 tribulations of the heavenly law. When there were only a dozen people left, the Great Demon King and Fen Tian met. The two of them bumped their golden bricks together. Fen Tian smiled. It's meaningless to fight anymore. Rock, scissors, paper. The Great Demon King and Fen Tian began a new round of rock paper scissors. Knock down half of the remaining ones for me. The rest is yours. Fen Tian, who lost the rock paper scissors game, said with a smile. All right, I'll help you get your share. The Great Demon King nodded. Boring. I was hoping that they would clash. They suddenly stopped playing. The Golden Dragon King was very dissatisfied. They are brothers. They are playing together to kill the enemy, not each other. Qi Rui said. Why didn't Lin Piamia fight? The Golden Dragon King asked. She's married. After a woman gets married, she calms down and looks down on these fights. They are all members of the Humanitarian League. As long as the first commander is in the Humanitarian League, it's enough. The Grand Elder said. Who is so lucky? The Green Rock Patriarch was very interested. He wanted to know who Lin Piaomiao was married to. Qi Rui lifted his chin and pointed at Night Sorrow. It's Night Sorrow. My Blood Qilin clan also owes them a big favor. A few days ago, the Black Dragons attacked the Blood Qilin mountain while I was saving my daughter. At that time, Elder Lin was present. She risked her life to hold back the 2 Black Dragons' elders. At that time, she was only a clone. It wasn't easy for her to hold back the 2 Black Dragons' elders. Qi Rui said. I see. Qi Rui, I'm sorry. The Golden Dragon King cupped his hands at Qi Rui. I don't blame you. However, I can't let go of the Black Dragons. They really have no bottom line. They caused trouble when I was saving my daughter and almost made me suffer the pain of losing my daughter. This has crossed my bottom line. I hope you can understand, Golden Dragon King. Qi Rui said. The Golden Dragon King looked up at the sky. There were some things he couldn't understand. He went to find the Black Dragon King, but the Black Dragon King refused to see him. Chapter 1851. There was a reason for the formation of the 100 Races Alliance. It was because of the ambition of the Demon Winged Clan. The Demon Winged Clan was not native to the celestial realm. They were outsiders. The environment of their world was harsh. It was not as good as the celestial realm. It was not as peaceful as the celestial realm. Generation after generation, they had always wanted to overthrow the rule of the celestial realm and turn the celestial realm into the Demon Winged Clan's world. The native races of the celestial realm naturally did not allow it. Therefore, they had been fighting for countless years and several reincarnations. This was the crisis of the 100 races of the celestial realm. Therefore, resisting the demon-winged clan was the consensus of the 100 races of the celestial realm. But now? Although the black dragons did not explicitly express that they were on the same side as the demon-winged clan, they had always cooperated with the demon-winged clan. It was as if they were a nail in the 100 races alliance. The Black Dragon clan's actions made it very difficult for the various branches of the Dragon clan to deal with themselves. The Green Dragon clan and White Dragon clan did not participate in the 100 Races Alliance conference this time because they were caught in the middle and were in a difficult position. The Golden Dragon King had to come because he knew that the other dragons would not come. If he did not come, it would mean that the dragons had left the 100 Races Alliance. Now that Chirui mentioned this, the Golden Dragon King could no longer remain silent. Golden Dragon King, I am very happy that you have come to attend the 100 Races Alliance conference. Your coming is a sign of your attitude. Your attitude is enough, King Yawu said. I am the Golden Dragon King of the Celestial Realm. Therefore, my beliefs are unwavering. It's just that I am unable to control my subordinates. For many years, the various branches of the dragons have been autonomous. There are some things that I am not clear about. The Golden Dragon King shook his head. It's better to go and find out more. Because we all belong to the 100 races of the celestial realm, even if the black dragons have gone overboard these years, we have not been ruthless. However, they have gone overboard this time. Chirui is our old friend. Don't we feel bad about this situation? King Yawu said. The Golden Dragon King sighed and patted Kirui's shoulder. Give me some time. We need to get to the bottom of this. Chirui clenched his fists. After a moment, he nodded. He knew that the Golden Dragon King was in a difficult position, and since he had spoken, he had to give him face. The Great Demon King on the stage was in high spirits. He also started a group battle without leaving the stage. No one could defeat him. He was now at the 6th tribulation of the heavenly Tao. Fighting against ordinary emperors was like bullying. This guy is having a good time. He's bullying us. Yu Zhu said. To be able to cultivate to such an extent within a minor epoch, that's his ability. Others have no choice but to accept it, said Pu Luo. What are you laughing at? Reese asked. What are you laughing at? Look at the eyes of the other elders. They are very envious that we can sit here. Who doesn't envy us for having a human Tao gold brick in our hands? Pu Luo took the gold brick and tossed it up and down. Pu Luo tossed the gold brick in a very cool manner. Long Jin was interested. He took out his large gold brick and played with it, causing many people to look over. Long Jin, this isn't for slapping people. It's for smashing people. If the target doesn't deserve to die, you have to take it easy. You'll be smashed into a meat patty if you throw it out, Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. That's a little awkward. Long Jin put away the large gold brick. Everyone looked at Long Jin in disdain. They also glanced at the Golden Dragon King. This was because the large gold brick was made by the Golden Dragon King. The Great Demon King stood on the stage with a weapon in one hand and a gold brick in the other. No one went up because it was too cruel. The gold brick was aimed at the head. No one went up. Emperor Tang announced that the Great Demon King would be the first commander of the Heaven Wasteland Army. King Yawu stood up and emphasized the importance of the Heaven Wasteland City and the significance of the 100 Races Alliance's existence. He wanted all cultivators to have the spirit of improvement. The Heaven Wasteland City would give you a big stage based on your ability. He also hoped that the young cultivators of various races would interact more. The meeting was then adjourned. The competition for the first commander and first vanguard of the 100 Races Alliance had come to an end. However, the people of various races did not leave. The Heaven Wasteland City was dominated by the human race, but other races also participated. They all had seats in the Council of Elders and also had their own encampments. They could not go back immediately after coming to the Heaven Wasteland City. This kind of scene could also broaden the horizons of the younger generation. Night Sorrow and the others returned to the courtyard, which seemed a little small. After returning to the courtyard, Pu Luo slammed the table and said with some dissatisfaction, "You're so inefficient. At this time, you still haven't arranged a decent residence for us. The first vanguard has to call friends. Isn't this place shabby? Pu Luo, you're too unkind. You're the law enforcement elder of the Heaven Wasteland City. Can't you arrange these things? You even slammed the table. Who are you trying to scare?" Qin Shenjia appeared in Night Sorrow's courtyard. "It's true that I'm the law enforcement elder, but I'm not in the law enforcement period right now." "Isn't Lu Qi in the law enforcement period now? Can't you do this?" Pu Luo said. "You don't know how busy 7th Elder is during the 100 Clan Alliance conference, so he asked me to make arrangements for this matter." "Night Sorrow, let's go and take a look at the new residence," Qin Shenjia said. Point. F***CK. I'm satisfied. Anything is fine. If you're not satisfied, then we'll return to the Divine Martial City. Our Night Moon Villa is also comfortable, Pu Luo said. "Pu Luo, you're really a good-for-nothing. It's fine if you don't help, but you're dragging us down. Besides, when has our Heaven Wasteland City mistreated capable and meritorious members?" Qin Shenjia tapped the ground with his cane. "Our Alliance Master killed 5 Demon Wing Emperors and even swindled tens of millions of sacred spirit stones and divine ash stones from the Demon Wing clan. Isn't this meritorious service?" "You've all forgotten about it," Pu Luo muttered. "You have to understand that it's us, not you. You didn't do anything either. Pu Luo, I see that you don't even blink when you betray others." Qin Shenjia then walked out of the courtyard. She had already arranged a new residence for Night Sorrow. The new residence was much more impressive. It was several times the size of the previous courtyard. Not only in terms of size, but also in terms of layout and architecture, it was very classy. "Thank you for your trouble, Sect Elder Qin." Night Sorrow cupped his fists to express his gratitude. Qin Shenjia looked at Pu Luo and said, "I have to. You have no good people around you. If I drag you to the divine capital to live, everyone will lose face." Pu Luo turned his head to the side and refused to meet Qin Shenjia's gaze. "Misty thanks Sect Elder Qin on behalf of my husband." Lin Misty bowed to Qin Shenjia. Qin Shenjia used to take good care of her. Last time, she also went to Qin Shenjia for Night Sorrow's matter. Qin Shenjia didn't refuse at all. "Misty, you're too polite. There's nothing wrong with you and Night Sorrow. It's just that someone has a bad heart." Qin Shenjia glanced at Pu Luo one more time and left. "You guys continue chatting. I won't be accompanying you today. The enforcement elders of the 100 Clans Elder Council have a meeting. I have to go." Pu Luo said. "Something big?" Great Demon King asked. Chapter 1852. Even if something big happens, it's just a battle. It's not a big deal. "Ruisi, Yuju, prepare the wine," the Great Demon King shouted. Night Sorrow smiled. It might be a complicated matter, but it was simple for the Great Demon King. In fact, it was just a battle. "Long Jin, Tianyu, congratulations on your rapid rise and entering the Imperial Emperor realm." Night Sorrow poured a cup of wine and raised it to Long Jin and Tianyu. "Yi Mei, the Nine-Tailed Fox clan's talent is not inferior to the other Divine Beast clans. Why didn't you enter the Imperial Emperor realm?" Tianyu asked. "I'm different from you. I encountered some problems after I was sent to the 9-domain world. My body was destroyed and I was reincarnated. Fortunately, the Silver Fox had the Nine-Tailed Fox bloodline, so it didn't affect me too much. This time, after returning to the clan and entering the ancestral land, I mainly purified the bloodline and focused on building my foundation." Yi Mei explained her situation. Night Sorrow understood a little. When he first met Yi Mei, a silver fox had just given birth. Yi Mei was indeed the silver fox's child. Everyone has different lives, but the results are good. Yi Mei may have been unhappy in the past, but from now on, just live happily. Night Sorrow said. Yi Mei nodded. Having 13th brother in this life is the happiest thing for me. By the way, I have a sister who is especially good to me. Can I bring her over later? Of course. Night Sorrow nodded. While they were talking, Lin Yun arrived at Night Sorrow's place. Princess, are you worried about Lin Yu? Don't worry. She's fine here. Night Sorrow invited Lin Yun to sit down and said. No, I'm not worried. I'm here to congratulate you. Also, I told my father that the Blood Scale Clan's clan leader is more suitable for second brother. I plan to join the Humanitarian League in the future. I'm not bad. Lin Yu said with a smile. Sure. I warmly welcome you. Night Sorrow said with a smile. After interacting with Lin Yun for a period of time, Lin Yun gave Night Sorrow a good impression. She had a high status and was the eldest princess of the Blood Qilin clan. However, she didn't put on any airs and didn't have an arrogant aura. Now, all the little sisters are ganging up on our Humanitarian League. That's good, but League Master, we need to collect materials. We can't skimp on the Human Dao gold bricks. I don't have many materials to refine the Human Dao gold bricks, Pu Luo said. That won't be a problem. Whatever you need, I'll go back to my family and look for it, Lin Yun said. After that, Tianyu, Yi Mei, and Long Jin all said that they could find the materials. Night Sorrow left and returned to the encampment to call her sisters. She was very happy that Night Sorrow had agreed to take care of her sister and join the Humanitarian League. A moment later, Yi Mei brought a woman in white to Night Sorrow's new residence. Sister Meng Meng, let me introduce you. Yi Mei pulled the woman beside her and introduced her to Night Sorrow and the others. The woman in white was called by Meng Meng, the granddaughter of the Nine-Tailed Fox clan's great elder. Bai Meng Meng cupped her hands and greeted Night Sorrow and the others. I originally wanted to pay a visit. I planned to join the Heaven Wasteland Army's first army, but my cultivation isn't the top among the Imperial Emperors, so I'm not confident, Bai Meng Meng said after sitting down. I'm not very clear about the details of the Heaven Wasteland Army's first army. I need to take over and understand it. However, I think that it shouldn't be a problem for a mid-level Imperial Emperor to join the Heaven Wasteland Army. Night Sorrow said. If you can join, then join. If you can't, then we'll wait, Yi Mei said. This is very important. I must try my best. If I join in the future, I might miss the reincarnation battlefield. Bai Meng Meng shook her head. Reincarnation battlefield? Night Sorrow and the others didn't understand. Bai Meng Meng looked at Night Sorrow and the others. After hesitating for a while, she told them about the news she received from Bai Zizhen. I see. If there's a chance, then fight for it. Sister Meng Meng, don't worry. If it doesn't go against the principles, there won't be a problem if you want to join. Night Sorrow nodded at Bai Meng Meng. Bai Meng Meng stood up. Alliance leader, just call me Meng Meng. Who cares about the battlefield? I still say the same thing. No matter how big the matter is, it's nothing more than a battle. Who here is afraid of battle? The Great Demon King said. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow led the people to distribute the living quarters. The new residence was luxurious. Not to mention 10 people, even 100 or 1,000 people would not be crowded. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao were naturally in the attic at the core of the courtyard. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao talked for a while. He felt that no one knew more about the news and understanding of this world than King Yawu. Don't ask for now. When it's suitable for us to know, Martial Uncle will tell us. There must be a reason why he hasn't told us yet, Lin Piaomiao said. How's your recovery? The black dragons are too despicable. I won't let this matter rest. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Piaomiao and asked. I've already fully recovered. I'm in peak condition now. Lin Piaomiao smiled. After resting for a night and working hard to have children, Knight Sorrow started practicing his spear techniques. Spear techniques were already a part of his life. While Knight Sorrow was practicing his spear, King Yawu came. After stopping his practice, Knight Sorrow invited King Yawu to sit down. Martial Uncle is going back to Yawu Mountain. If you have anything to say, just tell the Grand Elder. If you need anything or can't deal with anything, just go to Yawu Mountain. King Yawu said. He was planning to leave Tianhuang City. Thank you, Martial Uncle. I'd like to ask about the reincarnation battlefield. Knight Sorrow said. You're quite well informed. Originally, Martial Uncle and the Grand Elder wanted to tell you later, mainly because they didn't want you to feel pressured when entering the Tianhuang Tower. It's fine if you know, Martial Uncle will tell you. King Yawu didn't find it strange. After all, Knight Sorrow was surrounded by elites from various races and domains. The reincarnation battlefield was in Nirvana Ocean. It was where the human race led the 100 Race Alliance to fight the demon winged race in the previous reincarnation. It was where the human emperor and the demon ancestor fell. A large number of elites from the 100 Race Alliance and the demon winged race died. Update Y% most DH on X hashtag the Tianhuang City Lord was proficient in prediction. He knew that the reincarnation battlefield would appear in Nirvana Ocean. Of course, the demon winged race might know as well. Therefore, no matter what the situation was, the demon winged race couldn't get the upper hand. It's just a war with some restrictions. Previously, the demon winged race opened a space-time tunnel and sent 7 emperors over. Why were they emperors? Because the energy contained in the emperors' bodies was too strong and would cause the space-time tunnel to collapse. This time, it's a competition between the 100 Race Alliance and the demon winged race. We don't ask for any opportunities. We just need to work hard. However, we can't let the demon winged race obtain any benefits. Besides, the items from the previous reincarnation are very important. Therefore, you have to go, King Yawu said. Chapter 1853. Time, there may not be enough time. You will be in the Heaven Wasteland Tower for a year. The reincarnation battlefield will appear in 1.5 to 2 years, so you can decide on the specific arrangements yourself. Cultivating the death attribute is not bad. King Yawu nodded. Then I will make arrangements according to the situation. Knight Sorrow nodded. Okay. Also, when you feel that you have reached a certain level, you can study your master's sword Dao. However, I feel that you should stabilize it first. Your spear Dao foundation has just been formed. You can study it after you stabilize it. It will be beneficial for you. King Yawu reminded Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow nodded. He knew that this was priceless advice. I am very assured about your situation. Once you have taken care of the matters at hand, you can return to Yawu Mountain to cultivate. King Yawu left after giving another reminder. Not long after King Yawu left, the Grand Elder, the 7 Elders, and Pu Luo arrived at Knight Sorrow's residence. After sitting down, the Grand Elder told the Great Demon King and Lin Piaomiao that the Great Demon King was officially selected as the Grand Elder's candidate and Lin Piaomiao as the Disciplinary Elder's candidate. The two of them now had the authority of the Disciplinary Elder. Knight Sorrow, after meeting you, my official position has been getting higher and higher. Is this luck? The Great Demon King said with a smile. The higher the position, the greater the responsibility. Be more steady in the future. You can't be like before. Once you're steady, you will mature. The Grand Elder looked at the Great Demon King and said. I understand. The Great Demon King nodded. He could ignore the words of others, but the Grand Elder was someone he respected. Piaomiao, I am very assured about you. Seeing you is like seeing the future of the human race. I am very happy, the Grand Elder said. Then the Grand Elder told him about the Heaven Wasteland Army. The Heaven Wasteland Army had a total of 31 armies. Each army had 300 people and 31 senior captains. The first vanguard was the first senior captain. The 3 territories were unified, which meant that there were 10 commanders. However, the first territory was not under the command of any of the commanders. The first vanguard had the right to mobilize on its own. That's not bad. Our 13th brother has always been invincible in the war. If he's under someone else's command and the commander isn't smart enough, then there's no way to fight the war, Tianyu said. Night Sorrow, you don't have to worry about that. Later, the 7th elder will take you to the first army's encampment. Also, the first army will recruit some people, but you have to know that the first army will not accept anyone below the Imperial Emperor level, said the Grand Elder. Don't. Although Yi Mei is a 3-star overlord, she definitely has the strength of an Imperial Emperor. Night Sorrow looked at Yi Mei and said, I'll give you 3 spots, no more than that. In the army, you have to obey orders, the Grand Elder said. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that this was the rule. It was already good enough to have 3 slots. After the Grand Elder and Lu Qi left, Night Sorrow and the others talked. If I can make the decision to recruit people, Meng Meng won't have a problem. Yi Mei, your 13th brother will definitely bring you along. Night Sorrow looked at White Meng Meng, then patted Yi Mei's shoulder and said, 13th brother, I'm now a 3-star overlord. If I go back to the clan and cultivate in seclusion later, I might not need this slot, said Yi Mei. That's fine. Don't feel pressured. I'll take care of everything, Night Sorrow nodded. Then I'll go back to the clan and cultivate for a while and see if there's a chance, said Lin Yu. Lin Yu's cultivation was lower than Yi Mei's, but she was still a 2-star overlord. This was the dominance of the Divine Beast clan. Even if she was not awake, she was still cultivating. Night Sorrow sighed. He thought of his brothers. He didn't know how his brothers in the God-slaying team were doing, but the threshold for the first army of the Heaven Wasteland army was too high. There were only 2 emperors in the God-slaying team, let alone imperial emperors. Forever and Free Reed and Novele, 13th brother, our brothers will all rise. We just need some time. Seeing Night Sorrow's eyes drifting, Tianyu, who had fought side by side with Night Sorrow, knew what Night Sorrow was thinking. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that the members of the God-slaying team were already working very hard. It was just that the pace was too fast and everyone couldn't keep up. After chatting for a while, Yi Mei and White Meng Meng left. Lin Yun also sent Lin Yu back to cultivate. It was really important to enter the reincarnation battlefield. Everyone wanted to seize the opportunity. On the 3rd day, the Grand Elder came to look for Night Sorrow and the Great Demon King. He wanted to send them into the Heaven Wasteland Pagoda. Pu Luo, Lin Piaomiao, please take care of the Humanitarian League. Night Sorrow nodded to Pu Luo and Lin Piaomiao. He left with the Great Demon King and the Grand Elder. Only the original body could comprehend the artistic conception and the truth of heaven and earth. However, when the original body comprehended, the doppelganger had to protect the original body. Therefore, the Great Demon King and Night Sorrow both went with their original bodies. There were 5 towers in the Heaven Wasteland city. Only the middle tower was called the Heaven Wasteland Pagoda. Normally, people could enter the Heaven Wasteland Pagoda, but only into the ordinary space. The true inner space of the Heaven Wasteland Pagoda would only open after the 100 Races Alliance conference. Only the most talented cultivators were qualified to enter. After entering the Heaven Wasteland Pagoda, Night Sorrow originally thought that they would go up. He didn't expect them to go down. After walking for a while, Night Sorrow saw 2 bronze doors wrapped in energy at the end of the underground stairs. In a while, Night Sorrow, you will enter the left one. Great Demon King, you will enter the right one. After entering, you will have a year's time. After a year, the interior will explode with energy and it will no longer be suitable for survival. Therefore, you have to come out. In addition, everyone who enters the Heaven Wasteland space has different experiences and gains, said the Grand Elder. Night Sorrow and the Great Demon King nodded. They had already obtained some information from Lin Piaomiao. Lin Piaomiao had entered the heaven wasteland space twice. She had obtained the first vanguard and the first commander. Therefore, she didn't plan to enter this time. She planned to give the opportunity to the Great Demon King and Fen Tian. At the Emperor rank, there was almost no one who could defeat the Great Demon King and Fen Tian. The first commander would definitely be one of them. Fen Tian's strength was lower than the Great Demon King, and his luck wasn't as good as the Great Demon King's. The Great Demon King's strength was stronger than Fen Tian, but he gave Fen Tian a chance. However, Fen Tian lost in rock-paper-scissors. There was no other way. This opportunity belonged to the Great Demon King. Night Sorrow, the Great Demon King, and the Grand Elder waited. After a moment, an energy phantom appeared. After the phantom appeared, it struck out a few hand seals and the bronze doors opened. The conditions to enter the heaven wasteland space are very harsh. Therefore, there is only one opportunity every 1 billion years and 2 billion years. This opportunity is highly valued by the various clans of the 100 Race Alliance. Therefore, after the two of you enter, you have to work hard. Besides, it's not like there isn't any danger inside. There are only two outcomes after entering the heaven wasteland space. Either you walk out standing or fall inside, said the new energy phantom. Night Sorrow and the Great Demon King nodded. Both of them understood that opportunities and risks were directly proportional. Chapter 1854. Night Sorrow and the Great Demon King looked at each other. They had thought that they would be able to take care of each other after entering. However, they had to separate now, which meant that they had to enter different places. Be careful. Don't let the journey of opportunity turn into the path of the devil. The Grand Elder reminded Night Sorrow and the Great Demon King. Alliance leader, be careful. The Great Demon King's body flashed as he entered the bronze door on the right. Night Sorrow also entered the bronze door on the left. Upon seeing Night Sorrow and the Great Demon King enter, the Grand Elder nodded. This is the cultivation path of our human race's ancestors. I hope it will be of help to you. The existence of the Everlasting Tower was mysterious to ordinary cultivators. However, some of the higher-ups of the 100 Race Alliance knew about it. The Everlasting Tower had existed in the previous samsara. It was a protective dharma treasure of a human race almighty. Now, it was suppressing a space called the Everlasting Space. The Everlasting Space was originally the internal space of the Everlasting Tower. However, the Everlasting Tower was damaged and the space was no longer within the Everlasting Tower. Instead, it needed the Everlasting Tower to suppress it. The Everlasting Space had followed that human race almighty for a very long time. It recorded the growth and experiences of that almighty. The Everlasting Space was actually a trial space. After Night Sorrow entered, he realized that it was a gray space. The energy that seeped up from the ground had a familiar feeling. It was the power of merit. Night Sorrow had heard King Yawu say that the human race's providence was like a dragon. The dragon's head was at Yawu Mountain and the claw of slaughter was the Everlasting Space. After sensing it, Night Sorrow realized that it was different. The power of merit here was different from that of Yawu Mountain. The power of merit that erupted from Yawu Mountain was peaceful and mighty. However, the power of merit here was more domineering. It had a vast and mighty aura that could crush everything. There was no hurry. Night Sorrow planned to take a look at the Everlasting Space first before finding a suitable place to cultivate. The spirit chi here was rich enough. As he moved forward, Night Sorrow discovered a spiritual body. It was a spiritual body that was completely composed of energy. The energy contained in its body was at the mid-level Imperial Lord level. While Night Sorrow was observing, the spiritual body launched an attack. Sword techniques, movement techniques, and soul attacks. After the battle began, Night Sorrow discovered that this spirit body was different from the spirit body in Evil Punisher Land. The evil spirits in the Evil Punisher Land were very strong, but they only fought instinctively. However, the soul bodies in this heaven wasteland space had even more threatening attacks. After they attacked, they would use one ultimate technique after another. This was a display of their ultimate techniques. Opportunity. This was a fortuitous encounter. If one had the ability to comprehend, they would be able to comprehend an absolute art from their spiritual bodies. After studying it for a while, Night Sorrow realized that these ultimate techniques were not suitable for him, so he killed the soul and continued forward. As Night Sorrow advanced, one soul after another appeared and charged at Night Sorrow. After the victory, Night Sorrow did not gain any resources. After the soul was killed, the energy returned to infinite wasteland. Night Sorrow understood that the process was the harvest. The ultimate techniques that these spiritual bodies used in battle had energy trajectories that could be seen through at a glance. It was easy to understand and learn. On the fourth day, Night Sorrow witnessed a palm technique. It was executed by a peak Imperial Lord spiritual body. When the palm technique was waved, it had the ability to stir up the power of heaven and earth. The palm technique's energy contained the power of a domain. It had the effects of control, confinement, and time acceleration and deceleration. Night Sorrow was interested in this ultimate technique. He sent his clone to fight while his main body slowly studied and deciphered it. U forever free of Z fees to C small, a say % in order to delay the battle and have more time to observe. Night Sorrow did not use any of his ultimate techniques. He only defended and let the spiritual body attack. Then, he would learn. After watching for a while, Night Sorrow understood some things. This spiritual body's palm technique was mainly of the time attribute. The earth, water, wind, and fire attributes were supplementary. The earth attribute formed the earth attribute space. The water, wind, and fire attributes strengthened and stabilized the space. The time attribute slowed down the flow of time, achieving the effect of control and confinement. Night Sorrow's main body started to ponder. He did not have the earth, wind, water, or fire attributes. However, the significance of these four basic attributes in this ultimate technique was to form and stabilize space to support the later attacks. Since he had the spatial attribute, it was sufficient for him to use the space attribute as a supplement. After that, he could use the time attribute to control, confine, and speed acceleration and deceleration. After confirming it again and memorizing the entire process of this spiritual body's attack, Night Sorrow made a move to scatter this spiritual body. Then, his main body entered the clear sky pagoda and started to study. Night Sorrow had the void heaven covering hand. His attack power was decent. However, if he wanted to hit the target had to receive the attack or use spatial cracks and soul attacks to affect the target. If he used this spiritual body's ultimate technique as a reference, he would be able to attack directly in the future without any drawbacks. After studying for a while, Night Sorrow discovered that this ultimate technique was different from the ones he had mastered before. The lower attribute came first, forming the control attribute. Then, the time attribute was added to form the ultimate move. In the past, Night Sorrow's ultimate techniques had the highest attribute first, followed by the support attribute. There was no need to copy all of them. Night Sorrow started to cultivate his own palm technique. Night Sorrow's path of cultivation was to fuse the attributes. First, he would activate the space attribute to envelop the opponent. Then, he would use the time attribute to slow down the opponent's speed and achieve control. Then, he would use the void heaven covering hand to attack. After cultivating in the clear sky pagoda for a month, Night Sorrow's new ultimate technique was thoroughly integrated. It was the void energy that controlled the space attribute. The space attribute came first, disrupting the laws of heaven and earth, the will, and the momentum of heaven and earth. Then, it would be the attack, using the void attribute to complete the ultimate move. After cultivating the new ultimate technique, Night Sorrow changed his way of thinking. He added the void attribute to the space attribute, strengthening the envelopment and control. The ultimate move's attribute was the destruction attribute. With the support of the void attribute, Night Sorrow's new ultimate technique's control was even stronger. Night Sorrow even felt that time had stopped. Everything had stopped, and even time had stopped flowing. However, it was only for a moment. His realm was not enough, and his strength was not enough. Night Sorrow understood that his strength was not enough. If his mastery of the attributes was deep enough, then he would be able to stop time, and then proceed to kill. Of course, that was under the premise that the opponent could not affect or block his ultimate move. If the opponent's domain was strong enough, then this time deceleration would be extremely slow, and the power of the ultimate technique would be weakened. Very good. After cultivating this ultimate technique, this trip to the heaven wasteland space was not in vain. Night Sorrow muttered in a low voice. He exited the clear sky pagoda and continued forward. On the way, Night Sorrow practiced his new ultimate technique while understanding the situation of the soul body using the ultimate technique. Night Sorrow was very gratified. He recalled King Yawu's words. All the ultimate techniques were created, and they were most suitable for the creator. When the later generations practiced them, they would definitely not have the power of the creator. Currently, this ultimate technique that he had named the Desolate Nirvana Palm belonged to him. Chapter 1855. Look at, on D, edition chapter IE section hashtag, M. Desolation's hand was one of Night Sorrow's ultimate skills that he relied on to survive. He had a deep attachment to it. Later on, as his cultivation and realm increased, he had other options. Night Sorrow did not use Desolation's hand much. Now, Desolation Nirvana Palm was based on the power of time. The only difference was that it was different from Desolation's hand in terms of power and effect. In the past, Desolation's hand only had the ability to accelerate time. Desolation Nirvana Palm was different. Its ability was very comprehensive. It could accelerate and decelerate time. Whether it was acceleration or deceleration, it was not as powerful as time stop. In the moment of time stop, the enemy would not be able to resist. However, because his cultivation was not high enough and his realm was low, Night Sorrow's Desolation Nirvana Palm could only produce time stop for a moment if the opponent could not withstand it. If the opponent's domain was strong, the effect might not be obvious. As he continued to cultivate and improve, Night Sorrow would study new ultimate skills. If it was not new, Night Sorrow would use it to hone his Desolation Nirvana Palm. In the previous process, Night Sorrow had seen an ultimate skill that was more suitable for him. It was a space-time defensive ultimate skill. When the opponent was defending, their body would be in another space. Night Sorrow's attack energy would mostly miss. A part of it would be blocked and melted by the space barrier. When faced with such a situation, Night Sorrow would send out a clone to fight. His main body would study and analyze. This space-overlapping defensive ultimate skill was indeed powerful. After studying for half a day, Night Sorrow finally understood this space-time ultimate skill. This ultimate skill could enter a different space when in danger or when one did not want to face it head-on. It would greatly weaken the opponent's power. Night Sorrow named this move Space-Time Realm. The sudden appearance of a different space was created by him using Space-Time Dao. After killing his opponent and arriving at a mountain peak, Night Sorrow stopped moving forward and began to cultivate Space-Time Realm and Desolation Nirvana Palm. Desolation Nirvana Palm. Night Sorrow did not only use it for attacks with his left hand. The spear art with his right hand also had the essence of this spear art. As for the defensive ultimate skill, Space-Time Realm, he was getting more and more proficient. Night Sorrow's body was sometimes clear and sometimes blurry. Night Sorrow's body was switching between the real world and the space-time realm. Feeling that he was almost done cultivating the ultimate skills, Night Sorrow continued moving forward. After more than a month of training, his realm and cultivation did not increase his combat strength. In Nine's world, Night Sorrow's 9-domain world, 9 Nirvana Palm was cultivating and researching new ultimate skills. A month and a half later, Night Sorrow discovered a spiritual body that controlled a supreme soul technique. There was a rhythmic halo around its head that constantly pulsed, annihilating any attacks that came at the deity C. The mode of this soul defense ultimate skill was relatively simple. There was no worldly influence involved. Night Sorrow learned it easily. Night Sorrow was not worried about his own soul defense. He had the 9 region origin beads and the green lotus jade bracelet to protect his soul. They were both heavenly Tao artifacts. If the opponent's cultivation was not much higher than his, even if they had soul attack ultimate skills, they would not be able to break through his defense. However, this soul's soul defense ultimate skill was very strong. Night Sorrow's soul extinguishing slash could not break through the halo's defense. It could also isolate some of the effects of ultimate skills on the soul. Night Sorrow naturally would not give up on such an ultimate skill. Even if he did not need it, he could pass it on to his wife and children. As he moved forward, the battles continued. However, Night Sorrow did not cultivate the ultimate skills that the soul's soul used. Not cultivating them did not mean that they were not helpful to Night Sorrow. He used the advantages and disadvantages of these ultimate skills to strengthen his own. There were almost no supreme attribute souls here. There were no supreme attribute ultimate skills. What he needed to do was to draw inferences and strengthen his own ultimate skills. Of course, this required comprehension. With countless ultimate skills evolving before his eyes, Night Sorrow's own ultimate skills were becoming more and more perfect. 3 months later, Night Sorrow had traversed the entire space. It wasn't that he hadn't encountered any danger. Once, he had been surrounded by dozens of souls. Because of his strong combat ability and the Empty Realm's defenses, he had the true Dragon of Destruction mantra, the Desolation of Time Palm, and the Great Emperor's Reincarnation Slash. After 3 months, Night Sorrow had traveled through most of Desolation space. He decided to stabilize and improve his realm. He had already chosen the location. It was the place where he had encountered danger. There had once been many soul bodies gathered there because the energy impact there was intense. Moreover, there was a rich power of virtue erupting there. Just like at the Yawa Mountain, Night Sorrow sat down cross-legged and used his own time acceleration. He began to absorb energy and power of virtue to cultivate and improve his realm at the same time. After the 100 Races Alliance conference in Desolation City, many elites did not leave. They all signed up to join the Heaven Wasteland Army, mainly from the First Army. Tiger Cold and Flower Without Words came to see Night Sorrow, as well as other Imperial Emperor elites. Without Night Sorrow, they could not do anything. The Grand Elder also announced that the First Army of Heaven Wasteland Army would recruit members in a year. Lin Piaomiao became a candidate for the Disciplinary Law Enforcement Elder and had more things to do. She returned to the 9 Domains world and met Night Sorrow's 9 Domains doppelganger twice. She asked about Night Sorrow's situation. She only felt relieved after knowing that Night Sorrow was very stable. There were also many people who wanted to join the Humanitarian League, but they were all rejected. The Humanitarian League did not accept just anyone. The Humanitarian League needed Night Sorrow's approval and Night Sorrow did not dislike them. This was the consensus of the Humanitarian League except for Night Sorrow. First of all, Night Sorrow was the League leader and Night Sorrow was the virtuous emperor. They could distinguish a person's moral integrity. The Humanitarian League did not care about the fact that they would not be able to grow if they did not recruit members. In terms of strength, the Humanitarian League was definitely strong. Under the Humanitarian League, there were forces under the Devil Realm's Great Demon King, Misty Dynasty, Piluo Island, Rain Bamboo Mountain, and Ruisi Country. Fen Tian also had his own guards. These forces were all led by the Humanitarian League. If any force competed with the Humanitarian League in terms of strength, they would be badly battered. The Humanitarian League controlled some of the atmosphere in the celestial realm. The spies under the forces were operating. If they found people with bad morals, they would deal with them. If the forces under them were not strong enough, the Humanitarian League's elders would take action. When Piluo, Lin Piaomiao, and the others took action, even the elders of the 100 Races Alliance could not withstand it. The days of cultivation were day and night. Night Sorrow was used to such days. He knew that the stronger one was, the higher the chances of survival. Entering the reincarnation battlefield was a life and death battle. The 100 Races Alliance, the Devil-Winged Clan, the Black Dragons, and the Flying Serpents would also enter. These forces were like fire and water, so a life and death battle was inevitable. Chapter 1856. This tyrannical power was different from the tyrannical power of the energy attribute. The tyrannical power of the energy attribute had many sides. It could have negative elements such as killing, oppression, and so on. The tyrannical power of virtue was a kind of might and pressure, an upright and vast impact. Night Sorrow knew that this was the result of absorbing the Fate Dragon's slaughtering claw's power of virtue. As the name implied, the Fate Dragon's slaughtering claw focused on battle. Hence, it was different from Dragon Head Yawa Mountain's. Dragon Head Yawa Mountain's slaughtering claw. Night Sorrow's cultivation had risen to intermediate sovereign emperor, and the time energy around him had increased. It was now more than 5 times, less than 6 times. Time slipped away as Night Sorrow cultivated. During closed-door cultivation, Night Sorrow's mind became one, and he forgot about everything. His cultivation and realm rapidly rose. After changing the environment and sensing the different power of heaven and earth, Night Sorrow entered a state of selflessness. As for danger, Night Sorrow did not worry. As long as danger descended, he would wake up. In the blink of an eye, 8 months passed. Night Sorrow had been in the heavenly desolate space for nearly 11 months. Night Sorrow woke up from his meditation because the energy aura in the heavenly desolate space had become berserk. After waking up from his meditation, Night Sorrow first checked his body. After checking, Night Sorrow smiled. During this closed-door cultivation, his space-time attribute had increased by 2 points. His comprehension of the power of heaven and earth had reached 57%. His comprehension of the void attribute had also increased by 2 points. However, these 2 points were very significant. He had advanced from a 4-star emperor to a 5-star emperor. Just like the void attribute, he was an intermediate sovereign emperor. As for the destruction attribute, he comprehended it the fastest. He comprehended it by 3 points and was just 1 step away. As long as he could feel it, he would become a 5-star emperor. The reason why Night Sorrow was able to comprehend the destruction attribute so quickly was because the place where he was meditating was where the slaughter claw of the Fate Dragon was located. It focused on slaughter and destruction, so Night Sorrow was able to comprehend more of the destruction attribute's grand momentum of heaven and earth. Night Sorrow did not know how long he had been in the heaven wasteland space after communicating with the 9 domain doppelgangers. 11 months had passed, and Night Sorrow had to head out. There was still 1 month left, and he had to leave. The Grand Elder had said that in the infinite wasteland space, only this 1 year was stable. After that, it would become violent, forming a space that was not suitable for living. Night Sorrow was very satisfied with what he had gained in the past 11 months. His cultivation base and cultivation base had increased, he had researched 3 types of lost techniques. Additionally, his power of virtue had increased. Night Sorrow could feel that his power of virtue was no longer the same as when he had first become a merit emperor. The power of virtue contained within his body had become much thicker. Feeling very excited, Night Sorrow's body trembled. The energy in his body surged, and golden light shone brightly. Then, he let out a long roar. He wanted to vent. Opening his arms and roaring into the sky, Night Sorrow felt very comfortable. After Night Sorrow finished roaring and was about to leave, the mountain he was cultivating on shone with golden light. Then, a golden light shot into the sky. After the golden light stabilized in the air, it began to flow. It was the flow of words. He recognized them. Night Sorrow recognized those words. It was the Tao Te Ching. The golden light shone in the air. The flowing words were the words recorded in the Tao Te Ching during the human Tao ceremony. Night Sorrow soared into the air and approached the golden light. He saw the core of the golden light. It was a golden book, and the words were flowing out from the book. After taking a few steps in the air, Night Sorrow reached out to grab the golden book. As Night Sorrow reached out, the golden book retreated, not giving Night Sorrow a chance to grab it. Light of virtue, power of virtue. Night Sorrow looked at the golden book and understood. The golden book was filled with the power of virtue. If he used the power of virtue, he might be able to get close to it. As soon as he thought of this, Night Sorrow wrapped his left hand in the power of virtue and reached out to grab the golden book. This time, the golden book didn't resist and was grabbed by Night Sorrow. After taking a look, Night Sorrow realized that he didn't see wrongly. It was the Tao Te Ching. Night Sorrow didn't understand why the Tao Te Ching would appear here. Could it have appeared in the previous reincarnation? While Night Sorrow was thinking, the Tao Te Ching directly turned into energy and entered Night Sorrow's body. When it reached Night Sorrow's dantian, the golden words flowed in Night Sorrow's dantian. Night Sorrow was stunned. Could it be that the Tao Te Ching had become a spirit under the nourishment of the Dragon of Fate? Night Sorrow tried to mobilize it, but the Tao Te Ching didn't move. It's not moving. Night Sorrow took out the human emperor's seal and activated it with the power of virtue. At this moment, the Tao Te Ching in his dantian moved and the golden words flowed to the human emperor's seal. The words at the bottom of the human emperor's seal shone brightly and received a strong blessing. At this moment, Night Sorrow understood that this book had become a supreme treasure under the nourishment of the human race's Dragon of Fate. Night Sorrow withdrew the power of virtue. He originally thought that the golden words of the Tao Te Ching would remain in the human emperor's seal, but in fact, the golden words retracted into his dantian along with the power of virtue. Not using the human emperor's seal to strengthen his body. Night Sorrow didn't expect this situation. However, this wasn't important. The golden words, the Tao Te Ching, already belonged to him. Without any delay, Night Sorrow rushed to the exit of Tianhuang space. He had gone very deep this time, so he couldn't stop when he rushed back. He had to hurry. There were still battles on the way back, so there was no need to hold back. Night Sorrow used his various ultimate skills without restraint. When the power of virtue strengthened the domain, Night Sorrow realized that the power of the domain increased again. The soul of a 4-star monarch, which was an early-stage imperial emperor, was directly crushed. This was because there were golden words flowing in his domain. With the support of the golden words, the power of Night Sorrow's domain increased by 30%. Night Sorrow was so excited that he couldn't control himself. His domain was too powerful now. Night Sorrow took out a jar of wine and drank a few mouthfuls. He suppressed the joy in his heart and continued to fly toward the exit of Tianhuang space. At this moment, at the exit of Tianhuang space, the great demon king was anxiously pacing back and forth. He had been out for a few days and accompanied the Grand Elder to wait for Night Sorrow, but there was no news of Night Sorrow. Don't be impatient. Don't be anxious. There's still time. There's great danger in Tianhuang space, but can it be greater than the 5 imperial emperors of the Demon Wing clan working together to kill it? The Grand Elder glanced at the great demon king and said. The great demon king didn't say anything, but he was still worried. There wasn't much time left, so Night Sorrow started to rush back at full speed. If there were soul bodies blocking his way, Night Sorrow wouldn't care. His new ultimate skill, Space-Time Realm, wasn't just for defense. It could also increase his speed. Night Sorrow was like a stream of light, constantly flying in the blossoming space. Chapter 1857. The Great Elder and the Great Demon King's eyes were filled with astonishment because Yishan's body carried a pressure that they had to face head-on. It could even be said that they couldn't even think of resisting. Night Sorrow greets the Grand Elder. Great Demon King, why are you looking at me like I'm a ghost? Night Sorrow asked the Grand Elder. Nothing. Seems like you've gained a lot this year. The Great Demon King didn't say why. He knew that even Night Sorrow didn't realize it. Yes, it's great. How are you doing? Night Sorrow asked. Absolute Arts. I learned 2 sets of Absolute Arts. As for the Fate energy, it's not something I can touch or see, the Great Demon King said. The Grand Elder didn't leave. He let Night Sorrow and the Great Demon King return first. After the Great Demon King and Night Sorrow left, the Tran Hung appeared. He waved his hand and formed a few seals to seal the bronze door. After sealing the bronze door, the Tran Hung turned around and looked at the Grand Elder. Are you surprised? Actually, it's nothing. He used to be the Emperor of Merit, but he was only exposed to the peaceful side of the power of Merit. Cultivating in Yawu Mountain strengthened this point. After entering the infinite wasteland space, he came into contact with the claw of slaughter of the Dragon of Destiny and absorbed the righteous and domineering side of the power of Merit, so he naturally carries the aura of a superior, but it is also very difficult to understand why it is so strong. It's strange that the Emperor can give me pressure. The other feeling is hard to describe. The pressure doesn't just come from the power of Merit. The Grand Elder nodded. The Tran Hung didn't say anything. After thinking for a while, he clasped his hands together and formed a seal. Then, a special aura appeared on his body. It was mysterious and unfathomable. After a while, it dissipated. City Lord, what did you discover? The Grand Elder asked. The Human Tao Ceremony and the Book of Tao. After the last reincarnation war, he obtained the Human Tao Ceremony that was lost along with the Emperor Brush. It seems like the human race is really going to rise. Tran Hung was elated. Human Tao Ceremony? The Merit Emperor, the Human Emperor's Seal, and the Human Emperor Ceremony. When he reaches the Emperor realm, he will be the Human Emperor of the human race? The Grand Elder's face was filled with shock. It doesn't matter whether he is an emperor or not. In the future, we should respect his opinion. He is about to become the virtuous sovereign. His words and actions are in accordance with the principles of the heavenly Tao. He is also recognized by the Human Tao Ceremony. He will only bring prosperity to the human race, Emperor Chen said. The Grand Elder nodded. He knew that there was some news that hadn't been made public. Once it was made known that Night Sorrow had the Human Emperor's Seal and the Human Emperor's Ceremony, he would dominate the human race. Some things are enough for us to know. Keeping a secret is also to protect him. He has great potential, so we have to give him time. Tran Hung left these words and disappeared into the entrance of the Heaven Wasteland space. Night Sorrow and the Great Demon King came out of the Heaven Wasteland pagoda and started chatting. When he learned that Night Sorrow had cultivated 3 absolute arts, the Great Demon King's eyes were filled with disdain. He felt that it was already very impressive that he had cultivated 2 absolute arts in a year. However, Night Sorrow had one more than him. When they arrived at the new mansion, Night Sorrow saw the other members of the Humanitarian League. You're back. You're finally back. I was bored to death when you weren't around. Pu Luo slammed the table and said when he saw Night Sorrow and the Great Demon King enter the mansion. Lin Piaomiao asked about Night Sorrow's situation. She was very happy to know that everything was going well. Night Sorrow told the others that he would be away for a while. He planned to cultivate the death attribute so that his domain would have room for further development. Leader, if you want to cultivate, it's enough for your original body to go. Leave your doppelganger behind. We can't be careless about the matter of the Heaven Wasteland Army. The elites of the 100 Races Alliance are all waiting to join. If you don't appear, how can they play? Pu Luo looked at Night Sorrow and said. All right, then I'll go cultivate and leave my doppelganger to handle these trivial matters. Night Sorrow nodded. After drinking tea and chatting for a while, Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao left the Heaven Wasteland City. They went to the Divine Capital City for a while before returning to the Misty Dynasty. Night Sorrow told Datura about his plans. Datura expressed that she wanted to go too. She was born beside the Yellow Spring River, so it was best for her to cultivate there. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Piaomiao and asked for her opinion. Lin Piaomiao herself hoped to help Night Sorrow's other wives, so she naturally agreed. The 3 of them arrived at the Evil Punisher land, opened the seal, and entered. There were only a few evil spirits in the Evil Punisher land. Night Sorrow and the other 2 didn't kill them, because these few evil spirits could still provide some fire of life for their descendants after they evolved. The three of them went directly to the Yellow Spring River and set up a big tent. From now on, everyone will cultivate individually, Night Sorrow said. Lin Piao and Datura nodded. Datura needless to say, she had a lot of room for improvement. Lin Piao was the same. She had just passed the 6 tribulations of the heavenly Tao, so her cultivation had a lot of room for improvement. When her cultivation stagnated again, she could go for the 7 tribulations of the heavenly Tao, or even the 8 or 9 tribulations of the heavenly Tao. After checking the underworld stone in his storage ring, Night Sorrow flew above the underworld river. He planned to go all out and enter the underworld river to cultivate. He had the merit's immortal body and the leakless true body, so he could protect himself in the underworld river. With this thought in mind, Night Sorrow descended into the Yellow Springs River after using his energy to protect his body. As Night Sorrow waved his sleeves, the floating skeletons were swept away. Night Sorrow's body sank into the river. See Chapter 5 of the #PositiveX% edition. As soon as Night Sorrow fell into the Yellow Springs River, he sensed countless pure death energies attacking his protective shield. As his body descended, Night Sorrow discovered a large protruding rock in the Yellow Springs River. He landed on the rock and sat down, feeling the impact of the death energy. Lin Piao and Datura watched from the side of the Yellow Springs. "This guy is really daring," Lin Piao muttered. "I plan to give it a try too," Datura said. "Ah Luo, don't be rash. Night Sorrow has the merit's immortal body and he has cultivated his body. He might be able to withstand it. If you go in, you will be in danger. The energy in the Yellow Springs River is domineering. Once it attacks your soul and your Tao heart is lost, you will really fall into the cycle of reincarnation." After hearing Datura's words, Lin Piao quickly stopped him. "Piao, if others did this, they would be rash. But I'm not. I'm Datura. I cultivated using the flower. When I grew up, I absorbed the energy of the Yellow Springs River. The Yellow Springs River in the world of reincarnation is not as vast as the one here. It's not as violent. But my cultivation is different from before. I'm already at the Emperor realm." Datura looked at Lin Piao and said, "What you said makes sense. But I'm still a little scared." Lin Piao's eyes were filled with worry. "I'll have a plan. If it doesn't work, I'll come out." Datura had already made up his mind. His body flashed and he flew towards the Yellow Springs River. Chapter 1858. Night Sorrow's plan this time was to cultivate the death energy into his own body and not rely on the underworld stone in the future. The underworld stone was an external object after all. Using external objects to exert strength would never be as solid as using one's own strength. After feeling the impact of the death energy in the underworld river on his body for a while, Night Sorrow put some of the death energy into his energy shield and tried to refine and absorb it. After refining for 2 hours, Night Sorrow found that it was not working. After refining the death energy, its attribute was dissolved. Like a rootless duckweed, the death energy could not take root in his body. Under such circumstances, Night Sorrow could only carry out his earliest plan, which was to put the underworld stone into his dantian one by one and refine them first. After refining, he would shatter them and leave the death energy seed in his body. Then he could slowly develop it. In order to save time, Night Sorrow added time energy into his energy shield and started to accelerate time. Then he refined the underworld stone. Beside the underworld river, seeing that Night Sorrow and Datura were not in danger, Lin Piao nodded in relief. She felt that everything was so incredible. In the past, humans and practitioners of other races did not dare to go near the underworld river for fear of being hurt by the energy of the underworld river. But now, Night Sorrow and Datura both directly went into the underworld river to cultivate. This was absolutely unprecedented. At this time, Datura was like a fish in water. Although there was a little pressure, the general trend of the world regarding the death attribute was so clear. She calmed down and started to cultivate. In the past, Datura was one of the few people who stood at the top in the world of samsara. When everything in the celestial realm appeared in front of her, she felt the pressure. Night sorrow rose quickly and the gap between the two was getting bigger and bigger. She, who had the heart of an expert, could not accept it. Now that there was a chance, she naturally rose up. Lin Piaomiao took out the octagonal exquisite pagoda and went in to cultivate. Other than the addition of a tent and a pagoda by the Yellow Spring River, everything else was the same as before. No one knew about the changes in the two people in the river and the misty forest in the exquisite pagoda. Night Sorrow used 10 days in the real world and nearly 2 months in a time acceleration to refine 3 underworld stones. In addition to the original one, he now had 4. At this time, his dantian could no longer hold any more. Feeling that it was about time, the void energy in Night Sorrow's dantian surged, shattering all 4 underworld stones. Then, he compressed the 4 balls of energy into a ball and refined it a second time. The refinement of the Yellow Spring Stone was to build a foundation. It was not like the refinement of the Yellow Spring Stone would complete the refinement of the Death Energy. The two were different concepts. Night Sorrow first refined the Underworld Stone so that the energy within the Underworld Stone would be tainted with his aura, so that it would not become violent and hard to tame. After compressing the Death Energy within the Underworld Stone into a corner of his dantian, Night Sorrow began to refine and control it bit by bit. He wanted to be able to use this energy as if it was his own arm. The Yellow Spring River's water flowed down without stopping. Night Sorrow and Datura were rapidly improving in the river. Night Sorrow was improving, while Datura was evolving rapidly. It was very difficult to control a different attribute. In the blink of an eye, 5 months had passed. Night Sorrow had been cultivating in the Yellow Springs River for more than 2 years. Finally, he had absorbed the incomparably pure death energy within his dantian. Finally, there was another attribute. The foundation of the death attribute had been formed. Night Sorrow had his own death attribute. The next step was to strengthen and improve. Night Sorrow stopped the operation of the leakless real body. While comprehending the rules of the death attribute, he also improved the death energy within his dantian. In the Heavenly Emperor City, the Heaven Wasteland Army's first army had gathered. The Grand Elder, the Great Demon King, the 7 Elders, Lin Piaomiao, and a few law enforcement elders brought the members of the 100 Races Alliance who wanted to join the first army to the Heaven Wasteland Army's martial arts field. Today was the day that Night Sorrow took over the first army of the Heaven Wasteland Army. It was also the day that the first army recruited people. The first army of the Heaven Wasteland Army had a long history and was the glory of the 100 Races Alliance. All the members were emperors. Currently, there were about 200 people. After the people had gathered, the Grand Elder announced the appointment of Night Sorrow as the captain of the first army. Night Sorrow walked to the platform in front of the martial arts field and glanced at the sergeants of the first army. The Heaven Wasteland City appointed me as the captain of the first army. I'm only halfway to this position because I can only be the captain of the first army because you're convinced and obedient, Night Sorrow said after looking at the sergeants. Very good. All the sergeants of the first army are absolutely obedient and the best sergeants. However, the new captain must also convince us. Otherwise, you can go back to where you came from. A middle-aged man with a saber on his back walked out of the first army. That should be the case. Then let's set the rules. You can choose anyone to come up to this arena. As long as you can beat me down, I'll turn around and leave. I won't touch the first army again, Night Sorrow said. Straightforward. My name is Dong, and I'm the deputy captain of the first army. I already know that Night Sorrow has won consecutive battles in the arena. Even if you can't hold your ground in the first army, I'll still approve of you. However, please don't look at the sergeants of the first army as if they're a bunch of losers. We've been through killing and those who compete for the first army are just kids. Who wants to come up to the arena? Dong turned around and glanced at the sergeants of the first army. Bang! The 200 sergeants of the first army all took a step forward. None of them were afraid of the battle. They all had the confidence to fight against Night Sorrow. You're the most suitable person to be the captain of the First Army. However, since I'm here, I can't go back like this. Come on. Night Sorrow flashed and stood on the arena in front of the martial arts field. He stretched out his right hand and took the Blood Kylan evil spear in his hand. Genuine head hair, interesting. The great demon king said. Everyone knew that it was not easy for Night Sorrow to take over the First Army. Otherwise, the Grand Elder, the 7 patriarchs, and other law-enforcing elders would not have come here. You. Zhuodong pointed at a sergeant standing in the front. Excuse me. The sergeant pointed at by Zhuodong roared and leaped up. He held his saber with both hands and slashed at Yishang. His blood chi rippled in all directions. It was obvious that he was a cultivator who had been through many life and death battles. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Love Stories YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.